Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to start our first session, so I'm now gonna unmute my friends. And I'm gonna let our Dungeon Master take it away, basically. Let him do everything, so to speak. So without further ado, let's see if we can hear them.
I'm not an evil DM. I have nothing unpleasant planned.
Hello,
but you
guys.
will be expected to do. Hello.
Yeah, don't worry.
Teasing Tilly.
Chat was just listening to you.
Yay.
Okay. Well, I'm being threatened with violence by Tilly if I make a character do anything this session.
God.
So. But she lives in Sweden, and
I will murder you.
For
yeah,
what?
well,
I
good
will
luck finding me.
with the girl, and I will
I'll give you his address.
be dead by tomorrow.
You fucking bastards.
You see,
Right.
we've barely even started yet, and we're already making death threats. Can we save it until one?
Come
If
on,
anything
Robin,
bad
control the group.
happens, it's not the Dungeon Master's fault. It's the characters that I create that interact with your character's fault. You blame them. That's how the game works. You know, it's nothing to do with me. It's just my imagination. Okay, so yeah, welcome to Dungeons and Dragons. We made the characters last time a few weeks ago, and this time around we're going to be actually playing the game. So, if any people, you don't have to do this, Tilly. I can do it for you. But if people want to introduce their characters, and I figure we may as well start with Tweeds.
Oh, really?
Not to each other, but if you're introducing them to an audience.
Oh, of course. Well, so I guess I'll just tell the people who I am and everything.
Yeah, don't give up too much of your character's backstory information. Just just what people would know about you from a chance meeting.
Okay. Well, so everybody, I am playing Cormac Telvain, a Tempest cleric, and he is a former pirate with a peg leg that has now sought a new lifestyle as a religious cleric. And what more could he say? He's been he's currently trying to reform his lifestyles and make up for all his
On a
what?
journey for redemption.
Yeah, a journey through redemption, for redemption or whatever. And we'll see how he goes. Basically, I'm not sure what else I should read, but
No, I think that's probably enough. Okay, Sam, your character.
do it.
Hello, I'm Sam. My character is Grimold Rockbird. He's a fighter, a dwarf, out in the world on a mission. That's all you're going to get in a minute.
Okay, Tilly, do you want me to do it, or are you happy to?
I can try. I'm playing a forest gnome called Nimble. She's a ranger, and she's driven by wanderlust, so she's traveling places.
Okay, excellent. So, the adventure begins for all of you as, just through happenstance, some might call it fate, you have arrived out on the outskirts of a town in Bastion, which you can see on the map, hopefully on the Twitch screen, called Pegglar's Stoop. Upon arriving at this place, not all of you, of course, are approaching it from the same direction. Grimold, having come down from the north, from your home, you have wandered onto the Paragon Road, which leads dead west to Paragon and east to Inglenook on the sea. You, as a dwarf, and your particular type of dwarf, you appreciate a good straight road when you find one, and you realise quickly upon stepping on this that there is no way that this road itself was built by humans. It seems much older, far too straight, and far too well made. You travel east in a solitary fashion for some time, having come straight down from Silverpit Spear itself. There are a large number of patrols that pass you by. Some of them greet you with a wave. They're all humans mounted on horseback in heavy armor with lances at their sides, crossbows and swords on their backs. You feel like this is a very well-patrolled area of the countryside, and you feel safe as you head east. Cormac, you move in from the east yourself, heading from Inglenook dead west, where again you've moved past a heavy number of patrols. Although as you get closer to the city, or the town rather, of Pegglar Stoop, you're starting to find that it is less well patrolled. It's a little wilder around here. You see farms and just groups of kids running around making nuisance of themselves. Some of them staring at you because of your outlandish appearance. A few of them try to engage you in conversation before they think better of it and run off laughing, teasing each other. And you, Nimble, you approach from the south, and as you're moving through somewhere that's a lot more heavier countryside. Having come from the Gloam yourself, you've moved up past a few human settlements, but for the most part you've kept your distance. You swim across streams and rivers, move through hills and forests to get to this point. But there is something that catches your eye just as you're on the outskirts of the city. You see a strange figure moving by itself, heading in through the eastern gate to this town. And it reminds you of something that you were told when you were younger. One of your teachers, a rock gnome in your forest gnome village, who went by the name Peridot, once told you of her travels when she went around the Dragonlands to the west, of a sphinx of all things. You thought that particularly outlandish, her description of this strange, human-headed, lion-bodied, riddle-spinning creature. But the one riddle that always stuck in your head was a very simple one for you to decipher at the time. And it was that classic riddle of what walks on 3 legs in the morning, 2 legs at noon, and 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at noon, and 3 legs at night. And you got it immediately. It's any humanoid. The baby crawls, the adult walks, and the elderly person walks using a cane. You're interested here because you see an adult that, as far as you can see, is walking on 1 leg as you track, without really meaning to, a human with a peg leg as he walks through the eastern gate into this town. At this point, Grimold, you are entering from the west, and that is where your characters start, in the town of Pegglar's Stoop. Now, is there anything that you, Grimold, or you, Cormac, want to do in this town?
Yes, I would like to do to scout the area in front of me.
Make a perception check. So in that case, are you proficient in perception?
Yes, I am. Wait.
In that case, your modifier in that case is going to be a +5 because of your wisdom modifier of +3 and your perception proficiency. So it's a d20 +5 for your first roll.
So I just type roll d20.
1d20 +5.
Do I type in +5?
Yep, it adds modifiers in Google Hangouts. Okay, yeah. So it's this town is it's a very, very simple place. It's obviously come up over a very short period of time. It hasn't been here for more than 40-50 years. And as mostly human settlements go, and this is definitely a mostly human town, it's much like any other that you've been to. There are some ladies of negotiable virtue that wave at you from a house on your right-hand side as you enter in through the wall. The wall itself it seems fairly sturdily built by human hands. There are a few fairly rough-looking guards, one of which looks you dead in the eye and spits as you step through the gate. Choose to ignore him, I imagine, as you click along the cobbles. The houses themselves are 2 stories tall at the tallest, most being only 1 story, and the roofs are a sort of a red slate, and it's almost uniform. There are a few interesting buildings. There are temples that you can see as you step into the town, set up in the standard pattern that you came to recognize from Inglenook, where they have Nalcian's temple to the north, Werax to the west, Era to the east, and Saloon to the south, each separated in each of their own distinctive architectural style. Other than that, it just seems like just a fairly normal place. There doesn't seem to be a huge amount going on, no trouble. As a child that chases a hoop with a stick through the street, that's all you see at this point. Okay, Grimold, at this point, you enter the city from the western gate. Is there anything that you particularly want to do as you enter?
I just want to find an inn.
Okay, in that case, if you make an... What should we say for that? That's going to be an investigation check.
Okay. So that's a D20 again, is it?
Yeah, and what's your intelligence? Do you have a proficiency in investigation
No.
on your character sheet? And what's your intelligence modifier?
-1.
Okay, so it's a D20 -1.
I'm stupid. Basically. That's an 8.
Oh, I can't see your roll.
That's because I put it in the wrong chat. Sorry.
Okay, if you... So it was an 8.
It was an
Jack.
8.
It takes you a little bit of time. You ask around a couple of the guards, and they look at you with slight confusion. One of them is taken aback at seeing a dwarf for what might be the first time in his young life, and he simply points you down the main street. The town's a very simple layout. It's built on a cross with roads going from west to east and going from north to south through the city, or the town. Sorry. It doesn't take long before you find an inn, which is literally just a few steps into the city, and it is called, bear with me, just check my notes, called the Honking Goose.
Okay.
Just scribbling something down. Okay, Nimble, would you, at this point, with a little bit of curiosity, choose to enter the town?
I'd probably stalk after the one-legged.
One-legged human character that you've seen. Okay, so are you trying to sort of come into the city, the town unnoticed, or do you not particularly mind at this point?
Sort of blending in. So.
Okay, yeah. In that case, there's no need to do any rolls. But if you want to make a perception check as you come into the city to see into the town to see what you notice, feel free to.
Okay, how do I do that again?
Okay, so what's your wisdom modifier?
Uh.
I think it's a +2, isn't it?
Plus, well, it's 13. It says +1 though.
+1, and you're proficient in perception, aren't you? That's a +3 in total, because it's your proficiency modifier of 2 and your wisdom modifier of 1.
Okay, how do I do that in the chat?
Okay, so slash roll 1d20 +3. Okay. So you step into town. It's a very, very simple place, and there's one thing that strikes your character, and it makes you not want to look around very much. You can't help but think that this place is filthy. You've wandered past human settlements before, but this one seems particularly bad. Just out of a second-story window above you, someone seems to be throwing their waste out of the window onto the street below. It's a very, very dirty place. Just very, very grubby, and you wonder almost how humans can live like this. You're also, to a certain extent, given how busy this thoroughfare is, lost in a sea of legs. You know, it's like you know, a child surrounded by adults. You are at least just about half the height of almost everyone in this city, but you do manage to just keep up, just tailing this human as he wanders through.
Gotcha.
Okay, so back to you, Cormac.
Yes, Cormac would wander towards the Temple of Saloon, but he would stop like right outside of it and just simply look up at it.
Okay, so you look at the building. It's a simple flat stone roof with pillars supporting it on either side, with steps going up to it in each direction. It's completely open on all sides, but there is an inner section of the building that has several doorways leading into it. There are a large number of people in blue and grey robes who are either rushing around carrying scrolls, which they are moving from desk to desk, or busily poring over these scrolls and just reading. In the back, you can see there is a fairly old gnomish character who is asleep in a hammock, hanging between two bookshelves.
Would I be able to see the tavern from here?
There are a number of inns around, if you want to make an investigation check as well.
Yeah, why not? Let's see. So that would be, let's see, I have investigation, because it's intelligence roll?
It's an intelligence roll, so what's your intelligence modifier?
12 plus 1.
+1. So what's your? Do you have a proficiency in investigation?
Yes, I do.
So that's a +3 as well in that case.
So roll the 20
D20 +3.
plus 3.
Okay. Lots of high rolls this evening so far. Yeah, it's a simple task. You look around, and directly opposite the temple in the small square that it occupies, which sort of where the street comes down from the south, it splits around this temple before carrying on to the southern gate. And across from the temple to saloon, there is a inn called the Blood Oak.
Mm.
It looks almost as rough as some of the places that you frequented in your not youth, but misspent younger years.
Well, he would take another look at the temple before starting to move towards the tavern. Clearly having to change it. He changed his mind about something, so he's going towards the tavern now.
Okay. You enter the tavern. There's a lot of sawdust that's piled on the floor. The floorboards creak as you walk over them. There are a number of already clearly drunk humans. One dwarf drinking by themselves at the bar. The dwarf propped up on a much higher stool so he can actually see over the bar. And there is one rather portly, dirty-looking gentleman behind the bar who is rubbing a glass at this point with a filthy cloth. He's bags under his eyes and very, very heavy stubble, but not much hair on the top of his head.
Okay. Anyone else want to do something?
Okay, if you want to leave you at that point.
Yeah.
Grimold, if we're taking in turns to do this and until you guys meet up, what do you want to do at this point, having spotted this place called the Honking Goose?
Yeah, I'm going to enter the Honking Goose and see if I can get a room for the night. Come on.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to...
I'm not sure. Is that laughing at the name? Is that laughing at the idea of entering something? Who knows?
It would be honking if you did enter it. I will walk into the Honking Goose, and I will inquire about the cost of a room for the night.
Okay.
If
The door creaks open, and you step in. Clean floorboards. There's a rug on...
I'm glad you like it, Cat. Welcome
to
aboard.
your left-hand side with a very old dog sleeping on it in front of a fire that's just sort of being kept at a very, very low level. The windows are clean. It seems quiet. There's no one in here at the moment, but there's a young woman behind the bar who looks up as you enter and says, "Hail, dwarf. How can I help you?"
You're right there. I was looking for maybe a room for the night, please. Shut up, Tim.
Hey, it's A. Oh well, a room for the night would be that would be 5 silver pieces.
All right. What if I was to stay a bit longer? Is there any cheaper rates for a week or maybe longer, maybe?
Afraid it's 5 silver pieces in a night.
Right. Well, I think I'll take a room then, please.
Okay. You don't have to pay now. We can hold a room for you, and if you don't find anywhere else that you wish to stay, and she gives you a slightly judgmental look at this point, then yeah, just come back. We aren't particularly busy at the moment.
Right. I mean, I can go and find somewhere else if you'd prefer.
Oh no. Your business would be appreciated.
Right. Well, can I have a drink in the meantime then, please?
Of course. Would you like a gallon of ale or a mug?
Or a gallon, please.
2 silver pieces, thank you.
There you go.
Okay, so mark that off your sheet. Remember, it's 10 silver pieces to a gold piece.
Yeah.
Okay, so you take a seat at the bar, and get a large jug of ale is brought out to you, and along with a smaller sort of window glass that's handed to you. The handle of which is not designed for someone with hands as massive as yours, but you make it work. You get... no, I'm not going to say that because Tilly's going to be listening. Fuck it, no.
Can I just drink it straight out of the big jug?
Oh yeah, you get the glass, you ignore it, and just drink straight out of the gallon.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay, so Nimble, in that case, you're still tailing the figure that you've seen before, as he takes a moment to stop and stares at this odd-looking pillared building before moving into an extremely grubby-looking, simple stone building just to the north of that.
Sounds good.
Are you going to wander in as well?
Well, I'd assume that the peg-legged human would remain in the inn for a while, so I'd try to investigate the tall building as well to see what he was finding so interesting about it.
If you, taking a look at it, make a history check.
How? I'm very bad at this.
Okay, so your intelligence modifier, because that's what history is judged by,
Uh-huh.
and then are you proficient in history?
No.
Okay, so it's just going to be a D20 plus 1 in that case.
Hello,
History's
Mussy!
12.
Welcome aboard! Enjoying the show, man. Enjoy the show.
You were before you left. I've forgotten what we decided to call your hometown.
Don't you have, like, the sheet?
Oh, I have a character sheet, yeah, but I'm not sure if we ever named the town. Well, before you left home, and that's, I suppose, all you've ever known it as. There were lessons that you were taught on the other cultures that inhabited this land and where you were from, and then the country immediately surrounding it. You were never that interested in the history. You decided that even at that young age that you'd rather experience it yourself, and it rings a bell in the back of your mind about something to do with human religion. But other than that, you don't know what this building's about.
Fair enough. I guess I'd follow Cormac
Akira.
for now.
I'll put that in character sheet. Okay, if you... Okay, so you walk up to the door, push it open. It creaks open again. You're met with a disgusting smell that you can only think is spoiled ale and sick, with a hint of blood beneath it. You walk in, and there is again the sword is covered on the floor. A very dirty room, very very small, and there is. At this point, you almost bump into the back of the peg-legged figure that you were. In fact, make a dexterity check.
Did you say almost?
Yeah. I'm going to say make a dexterity check, which is a d20 plus 3.
Please fail, please fail.
Gotcha.
As you're opening the door, you nearly walk into the back of this heavily armored figure in front of you, shield on his back, sword at his side. And you just manage to stop yourself before you bump into the back of his shield.
I'd probably just stay at a distance still, lurk in the darkness in the back or something.
Okay, make a stealth check. It's a d20 plus 5.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
Horrible.
so that is lower than his passive perception. So, Cormac, you hear the door creak open behind you, and hear a slight sound, and then the noise of what is obviously someone attempting to creep over extremely creaky floorboards. Just
Mm-hmm.
yeah. What do you do?
Can I spot her?
You've heard her. You've heard something at least.
But how many people are like in the tavern? There's quite a lot.
The tavern, there's a few people just drinking at the bar. There's about 3. The one dwarf. They're all there's about 5 stalls, and there is a stall between each of them. They're not talking to each other. They're just drinking by themselves in this dingy pub.
I would like to have Cormac send a look over his shoulder and try to spot the gnome.
You look. There's now. You've not encountered many of these particular types of humanoids before, but it's definitely a gnome. It's a very very short, she's under 4 feet tall, creature with a bow on her back and a Bear with me again, I need to look at character sheets. A bow on her back and 2 daggers at her side is attempting to creep away from you into the shadows, and just sort of brown hair and a green jerkin. And there's just, yeah, you just catch her as she's sort of trying to move out of sight into the darkness in the corner of the room.
Wait a minute. There we go. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to look at one thing that's not showing up. Oh, let me just... Jack,
In that case,
thank you for that donation.
we will move back to Grimold, who's now probably about halfway through his gallon of ale. Grimold,
Such a
it
nice
tastes
guy.
like piss water.
Why didn't
Like,
it show
the,
though?
the shittiest brewers in Silver Spear would make something that's 5 or 6 times better than this. It's a nice inn. The decor is about what you'd expect in a dwarven inn, but the ale just it's too thin. It's not bitter enough by a long way. Tastes like it wasn't fermented for long enough. But there you sit, drinking your ale. Is there anything else that you wish to do?
Judging by the frosty reception,
Macho
and the,
Blacho.
quite frankly, shit beer,
I had to play it again.
I'm gonna give the barmaid a nod. Leave.
She gives you an extremely fake smile. Just a...
It's fun, you should do it.
And I'm gonna see if I can find that guard that told me where the rest of the inns were. And see if there are any other inns in town that might want my coin more than her.
Okay, sure. You as you get out, it's not an issue. Again, you're only a couple of buildings in from the gate, and it's the same blonde, scruffy-haired, scruffy-chinned youth that you saw before. He looks as if, to you, this character might be about 12, but he's standing there, looking awkward in his chainmail armor with his spear at his side, shield on his back, helmet that's obviously slightly too large for his head, and he looks at you again as you approach, and he tells you that there are a couple more taverns in the city. There's the Blood Oak.
Alright.
And there's also the Crystal Chalice, which is near the temple to Nalcion. He looks at you up and down again, and he says, "By any chance, are you looking for work?"
What sort of work are you offering? I'm looking for coin, definitely.
Well, any of the notice boards in the middle of town at the crossroads, they generally have the kind of work that a chap like yourself might be looking for. It's normally rough, normally dangerous, but the pay can be good. There's not much going in the town itself at the moment. At least, you're interested in portering, but judging by your weapons and your armor, I imagine you probably wouldn't be interested in that.
Yeah, no. Right, I'll probably check it out then. Thanks a lot, kid. And I think I'll probably just head to the middle of town to check out those notice boards.
Okay, so you walk to... It doesn't take long. It's a very, very small town. It's a population probably about 300, 400 people. You walk to the centre. There are wagons passing through, and there are kids running around making nuisances of themselves.
Thank you for the
You watch as a
donation.
dog brushes
Testing,
past you with a string
testing.
of sausages in its mouth, with a very
Very
tubby
much
butcher chasing
appreciated.
behind it,
Testing,
clearly out of
testing.
breath. There are a number of wooden posts that are set up in the centre of the crossroads in a way where they wouldn't block the passage of vehicles or people or horses moving through, but they're go up to about 10 feet in height, some shorter, some taller, and they're all covered in parchment.
I'm just gonna pick up one randomly and have a read. Or just have a read of one.
That one is requesting portering work. There are a number of businesses. You see the name, the provisioners mentioned, and it says to report to their guild hall in the town if you're interested in just simple lifting and carrying jobs.
Is there anything else a bit more exciting than that?
You take some time to read them all, and there is one that catches your eye, and it's... yeah, of course, there was also the brain problems. Bear with me just a second as I do a mental reset. Yes, there is one and it's again it's advertised by the provisioners, but it's a caravan guard duty. It gives a very brief bit of detail. Apparently, some wagons have not been making it to the village of Windrush to the north, and because of that, the provisioners want to take on a few more guards for their next expedition. So it's looking for able-bodied people of a non-nervous disposition to meet someone called James Atherton in the Howling Goose by midday.
The Howling Goose.
Which is the inn, the Honking Goose. I'm sorry.
I'm like, there's a lot of goose named inns here.
It's Goose Town.
Do you know what that is? That's me writing something in my handwriting, which if you have a look very, very briefly at my webcam, it doesn't matter that it's backwards. That is what I live with.
You need a new webcam, because that could just have been like Arabic or something.
Yeah.
Oh, well. But my handwriting is bad. Sorry, in the Honking Goose by midday. At this point, it's about 10 in the morning.
About 10. Alright, okay.
Judging by the position of the sun in the sky. This is something that, as a dwarf, it's taken you a little bit of time to get used to. There are always stories that you were told as a child that if you went outside for too long, you'd fall into the sky. You've been out for about a week. It hasn't happened yet.
Right. So I'm still a bit nervous.
Yeah, it's strange. A little agoraphobic, although you don't know that word.
I don't know many words.
Okay, so
I think I'm...
No, you wanted to say something? You, Karen?
I think I'll probably see if I can check out the other taverns before going back to the Honking Goose.
Okay.
You know, around 12ish. But...
That's an unfortunate name.
Got the Honking Goose.
Yeah.
It's got a beautiful sign outside of an extremely angry-looking goose on a green background.
Fair enough.
But the beer's piss, and you know.
Yeah, the service is shite. But...
that woman. Something
what
about
do you
her.
expect of a small, dirty town in the arse end of nowhere? You know, it's not a nice place. Okay, so you want to check out some other taverns. In that case, what we will do, we will get back to Cormac and Nipple's meeting, if your technical issues are done, my friend.
No, well, we haven't met yet, or technically, because
Well, you've just spotted a gnome attempting to creep away from you, and you've no idea what's happened. You instantly check your coin purse and you find that it is still hanging where you left it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. He would simply look towards the gnome or the child or whatever and shake his head. He would squint his eyes and actually turn away from her and instead walk up to the counter.
Okay, so the barman sniffs. Looks at you, spits on the rag and goes back into wiping the glass. You're a strange-looking one.
What Cormac does now is that he knocks on the counter, and he points at one of the kegs, just a random keg in the background, and then he reaches for his coin purse, obviously wanting to order a drink, but instead of speaking, he just simply grunts like.
Oh, a man of few words who likes to buy expensive beer. That's excellent. He pours doesn't use the glass that he's wiping in. He takes another glass out from under the counter. It's not a glass. It's a slightly cracked ceramic mug with a terrible finish to it. He pours an ale for you. There's the sound of a spring.
I've been waiting for that.
At some point, and so you just think, I haven't seen that before. Not strange bit of arcane technology. No, and he passes you a frothy mug of what you can only assume is ale from one of the kegs at the back of the inn. You take a sip.
Yeah, I do.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
Is it bad?
Now let's see. I have 14 plus 2, but I have no light.
So it's just a D20 plus 2 in that case.
Roll the. Damn, I'm really made for looking around and drinking. There you go. Okay, but clearly not. I lied.
I can't see the result. Weirdly
8.
enough.
He can't? Well, I did type in the right
So-
chat.
8.
I might be in the wrong one. Yeah, that's because I'm looking in the fucking Skype window, not in Google Hangouts. Okay, so you take a sip. You just manage to keep a straight face as one of the foulest tastes just fills your mouth that you've ever experienced. You've drunk bad ale in some awful places before, but this is definitely going on the record as quite possibly the worst thing that you have ever tasted.
Well, Cormac would certainly not stand for this, and he again knocks on the counter, and this time he actually speaks, and he looks directly at the barkeep, pointing at the glass of, was it beer? Yeah,
Ale, yeah.
ale. What is this fucking piss? He says in a super low voice.
Okay, so the barkeep looks back for a second, his eyes slightly wide. That's our ale. If you're used to a finer beverage, you might
I've
want to try the
tasted
Christian
cunt
chalice,
better than
possibly.
this.
Tastes like what?
I've tasted cunt better than this, is what he says. That's not Twitch friendly, but that's my character.
No,
Wow.
it's not Twitch friendly. I was debating whether I can
Vulgar.
use the C word, but the innkeep is taken aback by this. He actually starts.
Everyone is. Yeah.
The two patrons immediately to your left and right look at you, look down at the mugs. One of them shrugs and goes back to drinking, and the other one steps up out of his seat.
Is he taller than me?
He is slightly taller than you, a little bit broader,
Cormac's
with a
gonna
fairly
be
big
banished.
gut, but
What did you say to me?
massive arms.
Cormac's gonna be banished.
No.
So you come in here, you drink this beer, and then you insult it. You know what? You can fuck off. You can have
Okay.
your money, and you can just get out of my inn.
I think I'm actually gonna finish this first, if that's okay with you, man.
What is this character?
In that case, I'll be keeping your copper.
Cormac would remain silent again, and he would he would drink, trying to keep a straight face.
Make 2 more Constitution saving throws.
D20 plus 2. Don't worry, he's just had a bad day. He's not always like this, or is he?
I'm speechless.
Yeah, I've got nothing to say. Yeah.
What?
So your first roll is a 19.
Yeah.
Give me
All
another
right.
one, dude.
Sorry.
1 or 3, I guess. Hey! Hold on.
Wow.
Oh god damn it.
Okay, so as you get about halfway through this just over a pint of disgusting, just watery, incredibly
God damn.
bitter tasting, foul, spoiled ale, you keep a straight face. You maintain eye contact with this barkeep who is just sneering at you. A single tear rolls down your cheek as you continue drinking. You get to the bottom of it, and there's a gravelly texture in the bottom of it, and this is just enough that it tickles your gag reflex just a bit too much. As soon as you put the ale down on the counter, trying to keep a straight face, you just throw the entire pint up and what you had for breakfast into the sawdust on the floor of this tavern. Exactly.
That's
The
disgusting.
innkeeper starts laughing and just says, "Well, you've had your drink, now get out." You take your strange little friend who's been creeping around over there as well. Don't know what she's up to.
Cormac turns to face the little gnome, and he contemplates the barkeep's words, but he would walk up to the towards the gnome and be prepared, gnome. And he would spit some kind of comment to her and say, "This is really no place for a child, you know."
Can I reply now?
Yeah. This is all in narrative. You can do whatever you want. This is a scene which is your character.
Okay,
You don't have to put a voice on. You sound like a gnome anyway.
I do not sound like an
You do actually.
A
Oh, I do.
little bit.
Okay, I don't have to say anything. Just look at him and with a slight little grin. And also some disgust over what he just did. Then I just like turn and leave.
Cormac remains, waiting for the gnome to leave, and then he follows her outside.
Okay. Now, what we'll do, Grimald, at this point, so you'll have read this notice at this point. Once this interaction was taking place, you've had a little bit more time to wander somewhere in the town. Where would you have gone?
I mean, the crystal chalice sounds a little bit too fancy for him, so they'd probably headed towards.
You're a bit dense, but you're not stupid enough not to realise that. Okay, so yeah, you moved out south down the main thoroughfare, and as you are walking up to this point, just outside this stone courtyard with a fairly fancy temple to one of the human gods, number of people rushing around looking at scrolls. It all looks incredibly tedious to you. You notice an odd-looking couple taking a step out of an inn to your right-hand side as you go in and step into the square. As what is clearly a gnome, a little different looking from the deep gnomes that you're familiar with as a mountain, and a one-legged human whose peg leg clatters on the cobbles step out.
I'm just going to stop walking and just look at the odd scene in front of me.
Okay, you can make a perception check if you like.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah, 11.
11. Okay. You can instantly see that the tall human, who you'll have to explain your appearances in a second, guys. So getting a clear image of what you guys look like in your heads. He's wearing what looks to be fairly heavy armor, human made. The knit of the chainmail is not quite as tight as your own, and it fits his form in a way that looks like it's just not as well made as a dwarven forged piece of equipment, but it looks reasonable enough for human gear. He has a sword by his side and a shield on his back that bears an emblem that you do not recognize. The gnome herself, again, just a short creature, brown hair with a bow on her back. She looks like she can handle herself. They both do.
I have a picture. Can I link it in the chat or?
Yeah. If you guys now, actually, it's probably a good time to describe the physical appearance of your character, at least, or if you have images of them, even better.
It's similar to this. Is what I imagined, but with a bow, of course. More sturdy armor or leather, I guess.
Yeah, I'll just.
Damn, she's pretty hot for a gnome. Just saying.
I know, right?
No one better fucking ship anything in this goddamn Dungeons and Dragons stream, because
I ship Grimald and Cormac.
Yeah.
I'm not going near that. Fuck that shit.
What's wrong with me? What the fuck?
okay,
I've
so
near
to
got
give a brief description and we can put images in later, basically. But yeah. So
There you go,
Grimald,
there's my
how
image.
do you look? Where have you put it?
That's beautiful.
Um,
Did you make that yourself?
I've got Drawing Like a Child.
Yes, he did.
That's nice.
Thank you.
You're going to need to put it into the group chat though, Robin.
Yeah, he can see it.
But
It
I can
can
do it from
be
that.
seen.
So chainmail with blue detailing, and brown gloves with metal toe caps. A ginger beard that's tied towards the end with an iron band, and chainmail shoulders with her hair that's tied up a little bit on the top that falls in long red waves down his back with bushy ginger eyebrows. And a slightly, I would say, almost stunned expression on his face, but let's say quizzical for the sake of argument. That's how Grimold looks.
I mean, he's just seen a gnome and a one-legged pirate walk out of a bar.
You don't know he's a pirate?
He looks like a pirate. I've read the books.
Actually, you could make a history check if you like.
I'll make a history check, yeah.
I think that's going to be another d20 -1.
Is it?
Unless you're proficient in history.
I'm not. So do I just use the intelligence -1 then, do I?
Yeah, -1. If you're not proficient in something, you just do a roll without
Use the
proficiency.
overall.
The way that I handle proficiency generally is, say if it's something like Arcana, which Grimold wouldn't necessarily know an awful lot about, you know, your roll will be at a massive disadvantage. Like, for you to actually know anything about the subject, you'd need to roll extremely high. But what did you roll for your...
I rolled a 6.
You have no idea what the circumstances could be that someone would have their leg cut off and they have a crude-ish looking wooden peg leg put there.
Okay.
The vast majority of the war veterans that you've seen that have lost limbs would generally be seen by the clerics of Silverspear, and they would have such deformities fixed through the faith of the dwarven clerics.
I'm just going to watch what those two do.
Oh,
And now
that's
we have
nice.
an image of what Cormac looks like. That's a cool image.
Edgy.
Do like a peg leg, yeah.
Yeah.
Edge boy. Okay, so do you want me to describe you as well in that case, Cormac, or do you want to do it yourself?
I would gladly do it myself, if I may.
There you go.
Well, he's got long, shoulder-length brown hair, bleached by the sun, really dirty, and the beard would be currently longer than what it is on the picture, so he's obviously not been cleaning himself in quite some time.
Self-neglect.
Yeah, he wears a long, dirty and tattered coat over his armor, and his pants look tattered and patched together because they seem to have many holes in them. Other than that, he looks pretty much like the picture, and he's also he's got a few bruises here and there, because obviously from the stunt that happened in the bar, it was probably not the first time, and not all of them had ended so happily.
That critical fail, just saving you from a bar fight,
Yeah.
is pretty good. Your holy symbol, is it on your shield? Did you wear it around your neck? I forgot what we discussed. About
The
that.
shield.
On the shield, okay.
And he's got the shield on his back, Link style.
Okay, so
Represent.
what do you, Nimble and Cormac, now say to each other?
So yeah, is the dwarf standing in front of us?
With your passive perception, both of you would have noticed that there was a heavily armoured, red-haired dwarf that is currently looking at you from about 10-15 feet away, whilst the crowd sort of parts around him.
Then Cormac would address him and say, "What are you looking at?"
Ellie would come to join the party.
I mean, such a sight. I'm new to the city, and I don't know. You two seem to be quite interesting folks. I'm just trying to get to the bar, to be honest with you.
Quite interesting. I don't really swing that way, man.
No,
What are you trying to get at?
I didn't mean it like that. So all I want to do is go and get a drink and maybe a room. So if you don't mind, I'll.
Wait.
Oh.
You
Oh,
might
wait.
wanna wait.
Did-
Mr.
did-
Pegleg here just had an accident inside.
An
Yeah.
accident.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, some sort. But you're talking about a peg leg. Fuck the peg leg. You're talking. Are we going for a drink? Did you say something about a drink?
I mean, if you've just puked up in there, I don't want to go in there, and I'm guessing.
Oh
maybe
no,
I'm not back in there.
trust me, you don't want to go in there because the the ale. Well, it's not ale. It's
Is that sick in your beard? Is
what?
that vomit? Have you been sick?
No, I think this is from yesterday, man.
Right, okay. It smells like sick.
Can you smell me from here?
Yeah, I can, actually.
Nimbles would take a few steps back. Just for safety.
Nimble, I want you at this point to make a perception check.
A what?
Perception check. So for you, it's wisdom modifier, which for you is +1,
Okay.
and your proficiency, so a d20 plus 3.
$12.
12. Okay, so you're looking around, you're scanning the crowd nervously in this sort of place. Whilst you've met these two extremely interesting looking characters, the whole human town it puts you off your stride a little bit. You're much more used to being out amongst the trees and in the wilderness, and not in this place where the only plants you can really see are grasses that have grown up through the cobblestones that haven't been maintained properly. You do take a look around, and you do notice barreling down the street towards you is a dog with a string of sausages in its mouth. At this point, Grimold, I'd like you to make a dexterity save. Which, if you're proficient, and I'm not sure you are,
I've
it's your dex mod.
+1. So.
+1, so d20 +1.
11.
So you're engaged in this conversation with Grimold, and you feel a fairly hefty weight slam into your back, and a slight as the dog crashes into you. The dog takes 3 points of bludgeoning damage. You are knocked forward ever so slightly. You have to take a step.
Sorry,
And
this me, isn't it?
No, this isn't you taking damage. The dog did. He just crashed into a dwarf, completely covered in chainmail. You're not going to get hurt by that.
Alright, okay.
Just the perception check meant that Nimble noticed it a little bit late, and your dexterity roll meant that given that you weren't wholly paying attention, meant that you had no chance of stepping away from this dog. But the dog gets itself up, shakes, picks up the sausages, and continues running as a butcher pelts past you.
Sort your bloody mutt out. I don't want to be knocked down by a fucking dog. Just let him have the sausages, alright? I'm shouting that after him. The sausages, that's what he's having.
The butcher doesn't even spares you a brief look as he continues running, sweat pouring down his face. He's quite a short, chubby chap. It looks human, but he's so short it's difficult to tell the difference between him and a very ugly dwarf.
He looks like my auntie.
He keeps running down. He's got the same amount of stubble on his face as your auntie as well, perversely enough. But he continues running after this dog, and he just looks shamefacedly at you over his shoulder, whilst this dog seems to be having the time of its life, running around with these sausages in its mouth. Sorry, back to the conversation.
This town is a bit messed up. I've only been here for what, 20 minutes, and I went to another bar. She was, I don't even know what she was. That beer was piss, and now this fucking dog and yous, and what's going on? I'm getting out of here. See you guys later. Nice to meet you.
You have clearly not been to the north, my sir.
I have been to the north. I'm from the north. I'm from north of here.
Then you know it's pretty much worse than what it is here.
What you would know from that is you've been in two places of significance that you can think of in your life, Grimold. And one is Silverspear, and the other one is here. Whereas you would know from travelling that besides the eastern coast, Bastion is completely landlocked, Cormac.
Mm-hmm.
So when he says he's from the north, you know that he is from... It's bordered almost entirely by mountains, this area of the countryside. And the only civilization that you would know off the top of your head is Silverspear itself from up north, having put two and two together.
So, Master Dwarf, can you take this... are you a kid, or what are you?
Am I a kid, or is she a kid?
I'm talking about the kid next to me, not you.
I don't think that's a kid, that's a gnome. Have you never seen a gnome before?
A gnome?
A gnome.
Yeah, of course I knew that, but she looks much like very much like a child.
No, that's not a child. A child's a child, a human child, or...
Well, she's she's just as annoying as one. Just saying, of the few ones I've met.
No, gnomes generally are. Sorry, miss, I didn't mean to offend you, but they normally are. If you've ever seen a gnome child, that'll throw your head completely, because they're even smaller.
You can be smaller than this?
Aye, honestly.
What the hell? Well...
It's really difficult keeping a straight face if you guys role-playing. I'm normally so much better at this.
Alright.
Right.
Why? Are we that terrible?
No, you're fucking great. It's
Anyway,
really fun to watch.
Let the little missy speak. She's got her mouth. She's an adult, probably. She looks it.
I have nothing to say. It's fun enough just listening.
Wait. So you actually are an adult? Are you trying to tell me that you're an adult?
I am.
Well, I have bloody seen everything now. First the bear, then the gnome, then the dwarf with that
what?
beard. Yeah, it's a pretty fabulous beard you
All
got there.
dwarves have beards. Thank you.
I know, but not.
Even the girls, from what I've heard.
Oh yes. My Auntie Mildred, you should see it. It's better than mine. I'm only young though, so you know, hers is much better.
No. Well, it's been a pleasure, but I'm just gonna go, and you can relieve. I will relieve you of the duty, and you can take the gnome with you.
I don't want your gnome. That's not my gnome. That's your gnome.
She's not my
I don't
gnome.
want to me. Thank you.
Right.
You-
The gnome can look after itself by the sounds of it.
Mhm.
So,
She'll likely. Oh well, she's your trouble
One-
now.
one word of warning though for you. The honking goose, shite beer. But there's some good contracts there apparently if you're looking for work. That's where I'm going now, I think.
Work.
Hey, work,
Cut
you know.
work.
It said something about a caravan to someplace. I don't know. I've got to meet a guy called James, I think it was called. My reading's not great, but I'm going that way anyway. So
Yeah, well, you have fun. I'll be over here. I'll be drinking my beer. They're probably not looking for a guy with a peg leg anyway.
I mean, I don't think they're gonna let you in anywhere in that state, Pally.
Better state than you've ever been.
Excuse me, I'm not the one with sick in my beard.
And still better looking than you, dwarf.
All right, well, I'm gonna go because I don't really want to be in this situation anymore.
Okay.
I don't even want to get knocked down by a dog again. If you see that dog, tell him from me, he's a fucking mutt.
You do know that dogs can't speak, right?
I don't care. I didn't say ask the dog a question. I said
What do
tell
you
the
know
dog.
if dogs can't speak? Yeah, that's a question.
Do you want me to roll for that?
Yeah, make an intelligence check.
Okay.
Does he know?
Look, some dogs can talk, all right. My mate told me
Roll.
he knows a talking
You
dog.
get a 10. Okay, so the way that difficulties work in this is that for any particular task, say like holding a door open or closed, you'd roll a strength check, and if it was a relatively easy task, it would have you'd have to roll higher than a 5.
This is obviously not easy for him. No.
No, a more difficult would be a 10. Then the moderate difficulties are 15,
Yeah.
hard's 20, and very hard's 25. In this case, Grimald, you definitely know that dogs cannot speak unless under very specific circumstances.
Well, my mate said he's seen a talking dog, and he never lies. So that's all I'm saying. He might talk. You tell him. From me.
That's
stop
a
pissing
friend
about
of yours,
with
Grimald,
sausages.
called Korg. It's Korg, yeah.
Korg.
What is
That-
the
that-
dog's death?
That's the chap that told you.
Look, I'm not bothered about the dog. I'm going. All right. I'll see us never.
Why are
hopefully,
you still
again.
talking? The road's
I'm
over
going.
there, boy.
No, you've already left. You're standing outside. At this point, he didn't come into the inn.
I'm just gonna turn around and walk back, or head back to the honking goose.
You stomp off angrily. Okay, so Nimble and Cormac, what do you do? Still sort of standing there awkwardly as this dwarven character stomps back off to the north.
Cormac would look down once again. He would shake his head, and being a man of a few words so far, he would.
A few words and a little bit of sick. Yeah.
Yeah, he would just burp, feeling the effects of the ale rummaging through his tummy, and then he would give the gnome a little wave and say, "You stay out of trouble, okay?"
Gotcha. Carelessly.
and Cormac would walk off, and he would stumble off and head I don't know, the opposite road of the dwarf.
Okay, so you'd be heading back east in that case, down the direction.
Oh wait, did I came from east? Oh, in that case I'm going the other way, but not too close to the dwarf. And
So you down towards the west, and in that at this point, you're sort of left there watching these two taller, one extremely tall from your perspective, strangers wander off Nimble. You can see from over the road at this point there is a tall, grey-haired man. Tall, but in this case a little shorter than Cormac, quite a slimly built chap, who is at this point struggling with a large cage with a wriggling, very, very large weasel that is desperately attempting to escape from this cage. And this man continues carrying the cage until he puts it into the back of a wagon, which he then hops into the front. The horse is whinny, it shudders and starts moving off to the north at a very slow pace.
Being concerned for this enormous weasel, Nimble would sort of like charge after and try to keep up, or maybe if possible try to like leap onto the wagon if it's not going too fast.
It's not moving particularly quickly. It's tall. You've got short legs, but rushing after it, you easily manage to catch up. Make
Okay.
an acrobatics check, which, by the way, you are proficient in, so it's a +5.
I'm still gonna get 5.
Dexterity. Hopefully you won't critically fail. I mean, you guys have been rolling extremely interesting rolls.
Yeah, well, we aim to please.
We do.
11.
11 again. Okay, so you scrabble up, you manage to hook a leg over the back bar, which is just about a head height, and you're holding onto the sort of back gate of this wagon and just starting to pull yourself up.
Uh-huh.
You look over into the back of this. It's a classical sort of covered wagon, although at this point the cover is down. There's a few crates and bits and pieces in the back, a little bit of straw sort of dusted around, and this cage which has this very, very large, bigger than a large dog, just a weasel just sort of cramped up on itself in the cage. It looks up at you curiously with a squeak as you get into the back.
I'd ask the little fella if he's alright, or she, and sort of like try to check if it's aggressive towards me by like slowly streaming forward the hand, even if it can't really get out, but like stick out or bite at me or something.
Okay, so you reach out a hand towards it. The weasel sticks just the tip of its snout through the bars of this wooden cage and just sniffs at you slightly. Goes to try and nibble your fingers a little bit, thinks better of it, and just licks your hand instead.
I tell the little fella that I'm gonna get him out of there, because that's not a way to treat an animal as graceful as himself. And then I try to inspect the cage to see how it's built, if
So
there's any way
the weasel cocks its head and wriggles around. Just it sort of turns itself over and it looks at you, trying to get a good glimpse of you, constantly sniffing at you. Using your forest gnomish abilities, speaking with small animals, that in this case seems to apply, even considering the size of this creature, which is easily bigger than you are, and definitely weighs more than you do. You just to get a sense of it, that it's not even that bothered by its current predicament. It's just, it would like to get out, sure, but it's also kind of interested in seeing what continues to progress from this position. Make an investigation check as you look at the cage.
What would that be? I'm very bad with these rolls, I'm sorry. I don't know.
So your intelligence is +1, and you don't have proficiency in investigation, if I remember correctly, character sheet. I should have all of your character sheets open, to be fair, but I think Sam's got a grip on his. Yeah, it's just a +1 for your intelligence. Yeah, it's a very, very simple wooden cage. The gate itself to the cage is it's on the side facing you, and it's held together with a very simple few strips of cloth with a little bit of a metal mechanism.
All right. Can we move on, or?
Or if you want to carry on doing anything.
It's sort of like inspecting the weasel. I kind
Make
of
a nature check, which is a +3 for you. What are you looking him over for?
I mean, I kind of more like look around to see where we're going. More in that sense.
This isn't taken very long at all. It's this rapid series of events. Describing it always takes much longer than the action itself does.
Yeah.
You've still only just moving off. You've sped up a little bit, but it doesn't seem as if this wagon's going particularly far. It's moving up onto. It's passed through the crossroads at this point, at least, and it's moving as if it's about to start turning into a side street. And you can see, as well as the large building to the north, which is sort of a very simple red brick structure with brass decorations and a large stylized image of a sun on the roof. There is, to your right hand side, another large building which is simply built of large wooden logs and looks to be some kind of warehousing area with a number of wagons that have pulled up inside it.
Alright. I guess I decide that being in a cage or in any way but freedom wouldn't be way for the weasel to live, so I try to get him out of there. Either way.
Okay. So, how would you do this?
Dude. I don't know.
Okay. I can provide a simple solution. Just take a dagger out and just cut the rope that holds the cage door closed.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, so you pull a dagger with a deft motion. You cut the door. The weasel, who was waiting for this moment, pushes through the gate, lunges at you. If you make a dexterity save.
That was +3, right?
Hang on, let me, because I think you get strength and dexterity throws as a ranger.
Yeah, saving throws in that field, yeah.
Yeah, so it's +5.
Alright, I should check this out.
Waiting for someone to just... Fucking hell. Okay, so the weasel pounces on you and knocks you over, and using that momentum, he jumps out of the gate at the back and out of your sight.
Fair enough. Bitch.
Okay, so what do you do from there?
I have no reason to stay in the car thing, so I just jump off. Try to steady myself.
So as you land, you see you're in a large warehousing area. There are a few people that don't seem to have noticed you just yet that are carrying heavy crates and goods off to your right hand side, maybe 30 feet away.
Uh-huh.
In a stack of crates that you can see just off to your left hand side, not particularly far away, you can see a number of whiskers and one beady little eye that's just staring at you.
I'd approach carefully.
Okay. You move in, and the weasel he sniffs at you for a second, and then he leads you down a gap in the back of these crates that leads to a hole that leads out in the wall of the warehouse. And then from there you find yourself back out on the main road quite quickly.
Alright.
Okay, so from there, we are now on to either Grimald or Cormac, whichever one of you wants to now do something.
Yeah, I can... is the dwarf gone, or can I see him in front of me as I walk?
You're effectively, as he stomps back towards, I take it, Grimald, you're heading back to the Honking Goose.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So as you're moving up, you watch him, and you see that he moves into a fairly large building, 2 stories, with a sign that has an image of an extremely angry-looking fowl on the sign that's honking. But you can see him quite clearly. He's one of the few dwarves in town. For the most part, in your experiences, whilst Inglenook was a larger place, a true city, whereas this is a town, it does seem that the vast majority of the populace in all of the places you've moved through so far have been human, with the odd halfling gnome, the occasional dwarf, and very few elves.
Okay. Is that the only inn/tavern around?
It's the only inn/tavern there are. You don't necessarily have to be looking for taverns. If there's anything else that you think your character would be interested in seeing whilst you're here.
No.
Well, drunkard.
Okay, so it's getting close to midday as you enter, as you've just tailed the dwarf in. He is again sitting at the bar, occasionally making awkward eye contact with the barmaid, who decides to busy herself in the back shortly after you come in. And it's not long after this that a tall, grey-haired man enters the building behind you. Cormac.
Can I do a perception check?
Yeah? Well, did you specifically want to try and work out something about this guy?
Yeah.
It would be an investigation. Perception would be he's there.
Yeah,
Investigation.
okay,
is
investigation. Yeah. So roll d20 plus 1, and I have investigation as a focus thingy.
Yeah, so it's going to be a +3.
Oh, yeah.
We can just add the 2 if you've already rolled. Okay, what exactly were you trying to pick up about this guy? He's simply dressed. He's wearing a clean-looking leather jerkin with the protective plates that go down his legs some distance. Has a crossbow strapped over his back and a short sword on his right hip, which stands out to you as a little unusual.
What did you say? Did you say he's a human?
He's human, definitely human. Slightly shorter than you, fairly slim built, shock of grey hair. Heavy lines on his face from life that he's obviously spent living outdoors.
And where do I see what sort of building he entered?
Oh, I'm assuming that you followed into the pub.
Yep.
After Grimold, so you're in the inn, and he has followed you into the same inn, into the Honking Goose.
Oh, great! Another stalker. Seeing as Cormac is the paranoid type, he would constantly eye him from the corner of his eyes, but he would move up to the counter on the opposite side of the dwarf, trying to be as far away from him as possible.
Okay, so
Hello there, sick boy. How you doing? You again?
I'm just looking for a drink, man.
I wouldn't touch the stuff from this place, to be honest with you.
God.
I mean, well, I don't know. It's pish, to be honest with you. It's like it's just pish water. So, I mean, feel free. I'm not going to stop you. I mean, it looks like you can't handle your drink anyway. You know, with the sick on your beard. You might want to wash that out or get rid of that a little bit. But you know, try it. It's fine. Honestly.
Wait, you said it was bad, but now you say it's fine?
I mean, it's probably fine for you. I mean, I've got a dwarf tongue. You know, it's different.
What's a dwarf tongue?
It's the tongue that's in a dwarf. Are you simple? I mean, I know I'm not the brightest button, but you don't seem all there. Are you drunk or?
I wish I was drunk. Unfortunately,
right,
no.
Try the ale. That might do something. Probably won't.
Okay, so the barmaid comes out and asks you, do you two know each other? Would you like a drink?
I'm all right, thanks. Not again.
Okay. How about you, the person I was actually talking to? It's very rude to interrupt.
Sorry. He doesn't seem to be the kind of person that can handle talking to people.
Lass, just tend to the dwarf. Get out of my sight.
He's a polite fella as well.
She immediately just bustles into the back again, and you can hear her whispering beneath her breath, "Some real pricks come into this place."
You've upset her now. Look what you've done to her.
She's not the first.
Okay, so at this point, this is where we get to the point where the young, tall, grey-haired man comes in, and he looks at the two of you. He says, "Pale dwarf,
You alright?
cleric. Are you two some of our potential guards for the journey up north?"
Are you James?
James Aferton, pleased to meet you. He holds his hand out.
Grimold. I don't shake his hand. I just lift my hand up in acknowledgement of him.
Okay, he puts his hand back, turns to you. What's your name?
He looks to Cormac, I suppose.
Yes.
At first he just grunts, but he realizes that he he has to have some manners at least. So what he does is that he murmurs really, really low, and he says, Cormac.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
No, it's not.
You capable of fighting with that thing? Just pointing down at your leg.
Yeah, I mostly keep it around for show. Impress the ladies.
Why is your voice so creepy?
He's supposed to be creepy, okay?
I just look at the leg and give a smirk.
Grimald's impressed.
Well,
That's a decent leg.
we're due to be leaving soon. It's roughly a day's travel to Windrush if the two of
Alright,
you
but-
are willing to come along. It's a fee of 10
Yeah.
gold pieces per guard.
10 gold. And what's involved for this 10 gold?
We don't necessarily know. All we really do know is that some wagons have been missing. We can really only assume it's bandits.
Right. For 10 gold.
Shouldn't be too much. Shouldn't be
can
too
we
much
not-
to handle.
Can we not make it 15?
Make a persuasion check.
A polite haggler.
I'm a polite dwarf. And what a persuasion check did you say? Sorry.
So it's your charisma modifier, which I'm not sure what it is for you, and then persuasion and proficiency if you have it.
So 0 for both, so is it just a d20?
It's straight d20 in that case. A gamble.
14.
14. Okay, now I need to. I'm actually not going to rolling. You know what? We desperately need. Oh, look at that weasel.
I
There
know,
he is.
right?
There's a boy.
You only now notice the weasel?
That
Oh
boy.
yeah, I'm not looking at Google Hangouts. I'm looking at this because I actually have enough notes and stuff that I can look at people rather than just constantly look at my material.
Ah, of course.
He says, "You know what? We are desperate for guards. I take it that'll apply to your one-legged friend as well. 15 gold for each of you."
He's near my friend, but you know, I'm happy to have him along. Do you reckon he can fight with that one leg?
I've seen some one-legged people do some pretty interesting things in my time.
Well, you sir have
You
had
know-
a better life than me.
And also, given the emblem on his shield, he might be more used to us than the simple battering around in combat, as I imagine you are.
Emblem. What's an emblem?
Take a look at his shield. He points out there's a symbol on. Now you come back, you'll have to tell me again what the symbol on your shield is. I know we discussed this, but there's a lot going on in my head. Was it an eye that we discussed, or was it a lightning bolt?
It was a lightning bolt, but as he points towards the shield, Cormac would turn around and face the men, having the shield turned away from them.
Yeah. So when he's turned on the bolt, lean back where you are, and you can see really a lightning bolt traveling the entire length of the heater shields. Cormac back, and James said, "I've seen him wandering around. That's an emblem of the storm goddess. He's probably a little bit more surprising than you might give him credit for."
Just looks like pretty pictures on a shield to me, pal. But I'm up for going. When are we going?
Am I getting lag? Sorry, guys.
Yeah, you are. That I'm trying to focus.
Okay, it tends to drop off after a bit of time. Is
It's
it better
okay
now?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
fine.
let me know if that happens. We can just pause for a second because it doesn't last long usually.
It happens a lot.
And I will get better internet, I promise. If it's at any point a real issue, let me fucking exit some shit in that case. This
It's
one.
not horrible, but you're cutting out sometimes.
I fucking hate my internet provider.
Hey, you sound like Cormac now.
Yeah.
I hate my internet provider.
Does
Yeah, it's
Cormac
really-
know what an internet provider is?
This is what James is saying, so even though his voice sounds very, very similar to mine, as they all do, as I'm not good at voices. Says, well, if the two of you are coming along, then follow me. We'll be meeting in the wagon yard. One of my compatriots has already gone on ahead. We'll be following him.
Right. When I get up to follow.
Cormac shrugs his shoulders and joins.
I don't suppose the two of you know anyone else that looks like they might be handy in a dangerous situation. We'd have preferred more than 2 guards, really.
What about your gnome friend? Mr. I don't even know your name.
You don't bring a knife to a sword fight.
I mean, you bring anything you need to a sword fight to win. So
Yeah,
this man
yeah.
here
Well, if you
just
can't
needs
win
people.
any other way, I suppose. But even let's say if we were to bring her, where would we even find her?
I don't know. She's not my gnome. Is she your gnome?
No.
Wow, that was so rude.
Well, I would sell her if I could, but she's probably not worth much.
Well,
You
I
wouldn't
mean,
download a gnome.
if we see her, we'll ask her. If we don't, we don't. All right, let's
Sure.
go.
Let's do that. Creep.
Okay, so as you move out of here, and I love this fucking dynamic of just this bunch of assholes
Yeah.
coming together.
I love
You're an
it.
asshole.
I thought Cormac was going to be slightly nicer than he is, but
Yeah, same. What the hell? Creep.
it's pretty great.
That guy's not
Okay,
too
so
bad. It's just not.
you-
He's
yeah.
just blunt.
You've been dealing with a dickhead, so you're going to respond in kind.
Exactly.
You move out of the inn. It's a 5-10 minute walk to the crossroad in the center of town. As you move to this point, action pans back to you, Nimble, where you've been led out onto the streets, but by your new friend that you've made.
Yes.
Got something to link for you as well.
Where are you
So
linking?
yeah, this. I'm going to link you to stat block for the giant weasel in 5e. So effectively, what you will be doing is, while as controlling your character, or I can do it to begin with and then pass over control, it's fine. You have this little chat, and I'll just put it in the Google Hangouts chat because it doesn't matter if other people know it. Who will be joining you as your animal companion, should you so wish it.
What?
Hell yeah!
I want a companion too.
So,
Chose the wrong class, bitch.
what we're doing with Tilly's character is she is a ranger, but the original class in the rulebook is, and has been judged critically by people, as the weakest in the rulebook. With that in mind, Wizards of the Coast came up with a improved version, which you can find on the Unearthed Arcana section of their website, the Ranger Revised, and Tilly is going to be a, as far as we know for now, Beast Mastery Ranger is what she's most interested in. And being a DM, you can do interesting stuff like homebrew things, and I kind of like the idea of her character having an animal companion from the very beginning, because it would fit the character in this case. So that is what we are doing.
Well, she's got a weasel, I suppose. That's cool. I want a weasel too.
It's not just a weasel. You wouldn't know this yet, as you haven't seen it, but this is a giant weasel, which
So I'm keeping
is
quiet.
effectively a human-sized weasel,
Are you fucking kidding me? Like a crocodile weasel?
like a crocodile weasel. He's a big weasel.
Oh, you can mount him, mount and pet.
You could ride him, Dilly. It's a possibility for you.
She needs to reach
Alright.
level 20 first.
Is that ever gonna happen? How fast do you learn this?
Long. It goes really slow.
20 is the max level. It will be some time before you get there.
Alright.
And you don't need to be level 20 before you can ride a horse. It's like, otherwise no one would ever ride a horse in Dungeons and Dragons, would they? Because no one would get to level 20. Sorry, we're sidetracking. Okay, so at this point you are now in this sort of dingy alleyway between a few buildings where there's this hole that this weasel is shown you through. And what do you do from here?
Is the weasel still around, or is he
The
just...
weasel is just sort of looking at you intently.
I'd ask him what he wants. Or like where he's taking me, more like.
The weasel just cocks its head quizzically at you. Doesn't really understand the question.
Alright. Have a look around. See
Oh,
where
there is one.
I'm at, what I'm seeing.
Okay, so make a perception check, which is again a +3 for you.
Hey, highest roll I've had.
Oh yeah. Okay, so it takes a very short time for you to orient yourself from where you are. You take a brief look around and you realize that if you move back down from the position you're in, if you move basically the direction that the weasel is standing in, that will get you back out into the main thoroughfare before long. Otherwise, it just looks as if there's alleys and streets that wind their way through into the sort of the residential area of this town. It looks to you as if all of the mercantile places were on the main roads, and this is effectively where the people of the town live when they're not at work. The
I
houses.
move to the big road, to the
Okay.
where the work appears to be, or whatever.
Okay. So as you are moving to step out of this alley, the weasel stops you with his body for just a second. He leans out of the alley, sniffs, looks in one direction and the next, and then it almost looks as if he nods to you before he lets you proceed out of the alley.
Coast is clear. Alright, I then thank him for his efforts, and then I move out, sort of like checking if the weasel's following or not.
He is following along very closely at your heels, and he is roughly, say, a giant weasel. He's going to be at about shoulder height for you, just
Jesus,
longer. He's a big old weasel.
big guy.
Okay, so you take a look around, and it's at this point that you notice from your misadventures that there is a familiar sight to you. The grey-haired man that you saw loading this weasel into the back of his wagon is now walking with the dwarf and the human that you met earlier.
That's unfortunate. Alright,
Do we spot him?
Facts. I'm gonna say in this particular instance, Tilly, if you make a stealth check for me, and then I'll know just how sort of sneaky you'll be. And do you want me to roll for the weasel for now, or do you want to? If it's too much to
doesn't
handle, I can do it.
Just tell me what to roll. What was the stealth one?
Well, what you don't want to do is roll your dice onto the floor. Okay, so
Stealth.
James with his perception check definitely didn't notice you. His
Was
passive
it
perception.
dexterity plus the stealth one, or?
Yeah, so it's a +5 for you. It's also, for reference, a +5 for your weasel companion.
Alright.
A critical success.
Damn.
You blend into the shadows to some extent. Now, you, Grimold and Cormac, are going to be in silence, following James, and in this case we'd rely on your passive perception, which is something I think is an underused stat in Dungeons and Dragons. In this case, you're not particularly paying attention to your circumstances, so it's what you'd naturally notice. In this case, you do not notice Nimble and her animal companion, but Nimble, you keep track of them, and they move, and they move past you a short distance, down into the same side street that you noticed, and they also seem to be moving into what looks like an office building for this wagoneer's yard. And you stop just as you get to the main sort of turning off point where they move down the street and then turn left into this yard of this office building which you've just left from.
Can I just, like, keep my eye on them from afar? Like, keep my distance and make sure that me and the weasel are relatively hidden?
Yeah, no problem at all. You could find like a quiet spot to crouch in and just sort of keep an eye from. It's a low wall that surrounds this building, and there are many windows from which you can now see them as they walk through the yard, and then enter into this building up a set of wooden steps. It doesn't look as if there's more than one entrance or exit to this building.
Alright, I just stay there for now.
Okay, so you Grimold and Cormac, you're led into a relatively comfortable area.
Hmm.
There's a series of seats and sofas. You sit down, and James himself sits opposite both of you and says, "Right now they're outfitting the wagon. You have obviously got your own weapons. Is there anything that you think you might need in ways of equipment? Because we can provide it for you at this point, and I will just link something to you guys."
The inventory list.
Into Google Hangouts. So this is a basic image of all of the sorts of things that you can buy in a shop. Just for the sake of simplicity.
There's some custom 5e DM screen equipment list. Is that the one you're talking about?
That's the one, yeah, equipment list.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should have gone straight to the front.
No, I didn't, but it's fine.
Ah, it's okay.
So what exactly is the cargo here before I ask if I need anything?
Well, Windrush itself isn't actually entirely self-sufficient, so we'll be taking some food goods. They grow their own wheat there, they mill flour, they also have a mine to the north as well. So we'll mostly be carrying tools and simple food equipment, a few flasks of oil, that sort of thing. Just the basic bits and pieces that they need to keep going. This town, Pegglar Stoop, is a filthy place, and to be honest with you, I fucking hate it here. But simply enough, I'll be moving back home. I agreed to come on this mission to the south because of my particular skills. We weren't harassed on the way south,
So
but we don't know what will
You're
happen
from
on
up
the way
there
back.
then? You're from...
I live in Windrush, yeah. So I run the general supply store there.
Well, I'll have a bedroll if you've got one. I don't have anywhere to sleep.
Yeah, in that
Okay.
case, so a bedroll is 1 gold piece. So if you mark that off your sheet,
You want me to pay you for the
Strap.
bedroll? You said anything we want.
I didn't mean it would be free.
Alright, forget
Simply
it, then
enough
I
that-
can sleep rough. Doesn't matter. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just struggling not to laugh.
That's what I'm apologising for.
Yeah. Okay. So, Cormac, is there anything that you like off that list? Maybe some soap.
I'm good. I'm good. Keep
Please
the
say
list.
that.
Sorry, hang on a second. Cormac, is there anything that I can get for you? Maybe some soap?
I'm
You
good.
could do with some soap, actually. Can I buy the soap for you?
I'm good.
How much is the soap?
Soap's... Actually, you know what? The bedroll's a little more expensive, but bear with me a second. He wanders off, and within 10 minutes he comes back and just tosses you a bar of soap, Cormac.
Who gets free soap? Do I get anything? Oh, this deal.
If you smelled like him, you'd get free soap.
Alright, fair enough.
We can share the soap. Just stop being such a
I'm
weirdo.
alright. You keep your soap, human. I don't want your soap.
There's gonna be a river bathing scene where they're washing each other's back.
I don't want that.
Oh, it's gonna be beautiful. People are gonna do drawings and fan fiction.
I'm not washing your wooden leg.
Cormac slips the soap into one of his pouches.
Okay, mark that on your character sheet. You've now got a bar of soap.
Yeah.
Um,
Bar of soap. Oh shit, I don't have a pen, I just realized. Not cool, bruh.
IRL, we're in your bag.
Open.
Tilly, could you pass me a pen?
What?
I don't think that's how it works, mate.
A pen. I'm getting a pen, just a sec.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, fuck.
I think he's hurt himself, guys.
Couldn't you just add it to his character sheet?
Tweedman down.
He
Probably
could
still
be.
on the
He's
wooden leg.
an extremely stupid man, isn't he? So there is that problem. I really need a haircut.
Can I add this details into my character sheet on like other?
Yeah. Just put it in under something. I mean, not equipment, as I imagine that'll probably offend you. Not
Additional
equipment.
features and traits. Meanwhile.
Just put them in there.
Okay, I'm back, sorry.
So you know you can just add it to the PDF, right, dude?
Yeah, I know, but as it always disappears, I'm gonna add all of that later. I'm just gonna keep doing it manually.
Yeah, cool, no problem. One thing that you can do is you could laminate a character sheet, and then you add things using like a dry erase marker, and
Yeah.
remove them depending on what character. That's one option. Okay, so from there, is there anything else that you guys want to buy from the item list?
Nope.
No thanks.
Okay, so a small amount of time passes. It's getting into the early afternoon at this point. For a very, very early afternoon. James wanders in and out a few times. He brings you a couple of mugs of ale. Grimald again is not good by any stretch of the imagination. You've had much finer than this, but it is palatable. Cormac, it's one of the nicest glasses of ale you've ever tasted in your life. It's almost perfect by your standards of what you'd expect an ale to taste like.
I just lean over to Cormac and be like, "Hey, human, this beer's shite. I think every bit of beer in this fucking town is absolutely terrible."
Actually, this one ain't so bad. I'll take yours if you don't want it.
Hey, you can have it. It's pish.
Cormac reaches for the glass and he takes it, holding. No, is it a glass or a mug?
It's a mug.
Okay, the mug, and he would now hold both mugs and pour over the remaining contents of. What's his name?
Grimald?
Grimald. Yeah, sorry. Grimald's
Well,
beer.
the remaining contents over Grimald.
No. Into his now empty mug, because he's drinking
Okay,
so much beer.
Okay, so yeah, you sip this, and again, it's delicious. It's light. It's got a nice sort of mellow note to it. Oak aged. I don't know anything about beer. I assume that's good. I'm a cider man.
Don't
I'm
forget, we're going soon, so don't you be getting pissed, because we've got to be walking.
No, I'm fine. I don't need to piss.
No. Don't you be getting drunk, alright? Because we've got to be on guard when we go.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Just
Alright?
Yeah,
I'm just warning you. That's all.
Okay, so James comes back into the room. Right now, fellows, I see you've had your drinks. I hope you're okay to travel.
Yeah.
Cormac, this is nothing to you
Hey.
at all. 3 mugs of ale, it's like that's pre-breakfast drinks
Yep.
as far as you're concerned.
Eggs and beer, my favorite.
So you get up, you walk now, and you see in the yard in front of you there is a very, very simple looking wagon. And James goes, there is one slight strange thing. There was some cargo that seems to have been removed from my wagon. Hopefully it won't be too much of an issue for the grain sellers in the town who tasked me with removing it. Never mind, you don't need to know about that.
No? Alright,
If you gentlemen hop into the wagon, one of you can take a seat next to me and the other one in the back, and we will start making our way north.
I'll take the back.
Okay. I knew he was going to say that. All right.
Cormac goes for the back instantly.
No, I don't want you, James, to be sat next to that, because he's got soap, but he hasn't used it yet, so, it's fine. And I hop up onto the...
He whispers to you, I appreciate it. Okay, so you see all of this taking place, Nimble.
We didn't see your dwarf friend, did we, Cormac? So, forget it. Oh, I don't know your name yet. We didn't see your dwarf friend. Your
Dwarf?
gnome friend. I've had too little beers, I think. I'll start all that again.
She's
We
not
didn't see
my
your gnome
friend.
friend.
She's not my friend.
Alright, okay.
Keeps talking about the
James says it's gnome friend?
Aye, there was a little wee gnome with the smelly man. And I don't know if it was some sort of I don't know what relationship they had, but they both came out of a bar. She was, I don't know, she was weird.
Well, it takes all sorts, as they say. Well, that's been our way. And then you start rolling out of this down a couple of side streets and then onto the main thoroughfare. Nimble, if you choose to, it would be an easy enough job to follow them.
Yeah, I would. Pursue.
Hashtag stalker.
You bet.
Okay, so it's not long before the contents of the wagon are checked over by the Northern Guards, who, with a swift nod to James, they've clearly met before. You move out into the... Now, let me double check my image viewer. And there's also one other thing that I need to add to Google Hangouts, which hopefully won't take 3 decades to upload.
One can dream.
3 decades
you can-
later.
Episode 15.
I got it now, guys.
Oh, wow, this blue bar's moving really fast, guys. Real fast.
Your voice is moving slow.
Yeah.
Right, well, in the meantime, just briefly, whilst you're all sort of moving up north, I'm going to have a pee, and I'm going to pour myself a drink because my voice is starting to go. I will
Okay.
be back.
Alright.
If you want to take a very brief break, probably like 2 minutes.
I think we're
Okay.
at 2 minutes.
Are you guys enjoying this so far?
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
I'm just...
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I think it's really fun.
Getting into it now.
Yeah, well, sorry, I'm still feeling pretty awkward, but it's...
Yeah. But you can get over it.
I
Yeah.
feel like I'm doing horribly.
No, you're
You're
not.
doing fine. You're doing well. I can't wait till we get to interact, the 3 of us, a bit more.
Yeah,
It's gonna be quite something.
yeah, they are... I like the dynamic so far.
Your character is very strange.
Yeah, I know. Well, he's not strange, he's freaking rude.
Oh, hey Sam, did I tell you
Hmm.
my cousin Emily? She was playing D&D, and it was like a Star Wars inspired universe, right?
Yeah.
And she was gonna play a girl Wookiee,
Nice.
and she named it Chewbacca.
God damn it.
Perfect.
No,
Perfect,
that's...
I know, right?
No, that's not perfect.
It is perfect.
It's brilliant.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Chewbacca. Nice.
It is. But yeah, it's going. At least it's going much better than I thought it would. All of this.
It's going very smoothly. I'm surprised I've said anything at all, actually.
Yeah. When you started talking, I'm like, whoa, damn.
It's just like when I'm forced into the situation, I go like, I gotta say something.
Yeah. Well, you're doing good.
I can't wait till Grimald meets your otter friend.
Otter? What
Is
did
it
you
an
call
otter?
my
What's it
weasel?
called?
A weasel.
Sorry.
It's a weasel. God damn it.
Otters, weasels, they're the same thing, aren't they? Really? Don't mean to be.
No, they're not. Can you Google an otter and then a weasel?
Don't, no.
Okay, they're pretty much the same.
They're pretty much the same thing.
No, they
told
aren't.
you.
No, they aren't. Weasels.
I mean,
Weasels
look-
are on top of the ground.
Look at
Otters
the
are water
dry.
weasels.
Look at the dry otter compared to a weasel. They're sort of similar, but seriously.
The
look
water weasels.
water weasels. I guess.
Water weasel.
Hey, I found Tilly's character on her 2 pets. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Hello, Mr. I Love.
Ella.
Yeah, it's Michael's map, aka our game master. He made it himself. He's quite proud of it. And for some reason I can't see the...
Hello, I am back.
Hello.
Hello. Stop talking about it now.
You got compliments on your map.
No, don't tell him. Oh my god, his ego.
His
Why
head's
not?
gonna
No, my
get too
hand-
big for the camera.
My handwriting's really bad. Okay. Okay, so it's uploaded finally. Here is the... So, from where you are now gradually moving northwest.
Something's
And,
been uploaded that I haven't seen yet.
It's in the Google Hangouts chat.
Oh, there it is. Alright.
Alright, okay, yep.
Where were we?
Pegglar's Stoop.
Oh.
So you've moved
have
up
to
from the
scroll down.
south, the very bottom corner of the map.
Uh-huh.
And Cormac, you'd have moved east. Grimold, you'd have seen a little bit of this territory from where you'd have moved, which would have been just slightly west of this map. And you'd have moved all along the Paragon Road. So you'd have seen a little bit of the marsh that you passed through and a large, very, very well built, it looked like a collaboration between dwarves and humans, a castle that was on the road itself that you passed through the gate of.
Mm-hmm.
And continued on towards Pegglar's Stoop. But now from where you are, Nimble, you continue to follow the wagon out of the town.
Correct.
Okay, and now a fairly uneventful few hours pass by in which you travel in this wagon over rolling countryside, a few streams that have simple stone bridges built over them. The sun, it's a very, very
Welcome aboard,
hot day in early
Vilio
summer.
Sephora.
As the sun beats down on this covered wagon, as you continue to move forward at a relatively slow pace. Nimble, you're just about managing to keep up as it is started to gather speed somewhat with the 2 horses that are pulling it. But still, it's just a covered wagon. It's not going to be able to move that quickly. And oh god damn it, glasses.
You okay?
Yes, I can see it again. And you continue moving over these rolling hills, the countryside passing by around you. If there's anything that you want to do to kill the time, Grimmel and...
I'm just going to occasionally check around to see if that Cormac's still on the wagon.
And he is. Very much so. But he doesn't say a single word. He just sits there with a grumpy face.
You would almost expect him to be sleeping from the position that he's sat in, but he's just sort of scrunched up in the back of the wagon in what little room there is amongst all of these crates and boxes.
And his brows are so deep down that he's literally just squinting too, so he looks like he has his eyes closed.
He has got a very serious case of resting bitch face.
Exactly.
Okay, so Grimmel, there are a number of areas of woodland around Nimble, and you continue sort of darting from one copse of trees to the other, feeling a lot more at home now that you're out in the open. This road itself, as well, there's something that you've picked up on Grimald, is definitely human-made. It winds around features, whereas the Paragon Road that you walked just cut through hills and had just bridges that were completely flush with the road. This one, they move in arcs over the water, or sometimes you have to pass over fords, as there are a lot of streams in this area of the country. The map itself, by the way, copping out a little bit here, is not entirely accurate. It's a simple trader's map that a merchant from a few years ago created, just as sort of a reminder for himself of where the major landmarks in this area are. And it's not long. You're getting towards... the sun's starting to set in the sky, but it hasn't quite gone down yet. And you start moving in towards a rather pretty little village that you can see just starting to appear, called Glenheath, which there are watchtowers that are keeping an eye on this end of the road that they just let you pass as James waves at them. And you move into a town or a village rather, which is divided in half over this fairly rapidly running river that runs through it. James himself doesn't seem to have any interest in stopping here, but he briefly pulls up to water the horses and let them rest for a short time, which, Nimble, you can catch up. You have the choice. You can either come into the village as well at this point, or you can continue to just follow and skirt around.
I'd stay stealthy if possible.
Okay. The town elder comes out and he greets you. He says, "Oh, well, welcome to Glenheath. I take it you're just passing through onto Windrush."
Speak to James if you want anything, pal. I'm just the muscle, really.
Cormac, you're in the back of the wagon, edge lording it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Elder. We're just passing through. Do you have anything that you wish to take along to Windrush? The elder thinks for a moment. Says, No. The trade has been fairly brisk between us for some time. But I do wish we get to the bottom of this issue that's blocking the trade for now, though. I just want you, just for the sake of curiosity, as you're looking around, Grimold, to make a perception check.
Okay. So it's perception +3 +1. So if I've got a wisdom of 12, which is a +1, and then
Welcome aboard, Cypher!
That's +4, yeah.
Plus, you'd have a perception of +2 at this point. Because
+2.
your proficiency bonus, yeah. So it's +3 in total. The 1 for the wisdom and the +2 for proficiency.
Right, okay. +2. 14.
Okay, it's a very, very picturesque village, this. You take a look around and there's these rather elegant-looking sort of monolithic stone structures that surround the village. It looks as if it's a rather beautiful day. It looks as if there might have been a wedding taking place as you pass through the town square. There's an official in robes who is speaking to a very, very young and very happy, blushing human couple who are getting married. The bride in an odd-looking white dress. It's very different from the customs that you're used to, but it's clearly a wedding. There are flowers up all over the village, and there seems to be some sort of feast taking place, and you notice as you pass this by. Nimble, what are you up to at this point? Do you follow into the village, or do you want to go around, or...?
Go around. Probably.
Sweet.
Not making the same mistake again.
No.
Okay.
Not gonna repeat that mistake. That was...
Yeah, your experience of human settlement so far has not been entirely positive. You've been through Bardrick Stead to the south, which was a little like Pegglar Stoop, only much cleaner, much tidier, but the people there were even less friendly.
Uh-huh.
And having been through here, you're not eager to repeat that mistake. Okay, if you make a stealth check.
I keep forgetting what I'm supposed to roll.
D20 plus 5. Okay, yeah, you pass relatively unnoticed. You actually manage to sneak through the underbrush that's growing up towards one of these towers somewhat. And you move underneath without being noticed by the crossbow wielding. They don't necessarily look like guards, they look more like just militia, very simply dressed soldiers with crossbows on their backs.
Mm-hmm.
You move through and then skirt around, find a shallower spot to cross the river, swim across a short distance with your weasel helping you as he sort of crowds around you and pushes you to the shore. You move up, and it's not long, but given the heat of the day, before you've dried off on the western side, and you keep tracking the wagon as it moves. It stops again as James is continuing to talk to a few people. And then you continue moving northwest gradually. The sun starts to set, and you find a campsite, Grimold, Cormac, and James, on the side of the road, roughly now halfway from Glenheath to Windrush. I don't think it's wise to press on through the night. We will have to keep watch. I'm not sure that we're into the dangerous area of territory yet, but I've only made this trip on the way back and not on the way to Pegglar Stoop and not on the way back to Windrush. You, I don't suppose any of you noticed anything particularly strange about Glenheath, did you?
I don't think so, no.
Oh,
Are we supposed to
Oh,
look
that's
for
not-
anything that's particularly strange?
well, no, just something set my hackles about that place. I can't quite put my finger on it, though.
Old man. Something about a wedding.
You said something about bandits earlier. Is that a common, problem with these wagons, since you hide us?
Well, no. It's been peaceful in this country for a number of years. Since the troubles died down in the west, it's been flourishing. The villages and towns have been recovering immensely.
Can I see if he's lying, or is it obvious that he's not lying?
Make an insight check.
Insight, I've got plus in, and so it is roll.
That's a wisdom check, isn't it, right?
Yeah,
So it's +5.
D20 plus 5. Let's see. Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
as far as you can tell, he is 100% sincere. He seems to be almost very interested in this subject, and he says, until fairly recently, we'd have the odd bit of trouble with bandits, but no more than Hudwood or any civilized place, I suppose. It just seems that recently there's something been happening, and it's really been stopping trade coming back towards Windrush. Okay, so who is going to? So, is there anything that you want to do whilst you're camping? And Nimble, do you want to keep an eye on the campsite from a distance, or do you want to get involved?
Can you guess?
I think I
Nothing.
know. I think you want to just take your longbow out and just start firing randomly into the camp.
Correct.
No, I imagine
Wow.
you'd bed down somewhere where you can keep an eye on what's going on in the camp, but you wouldn't necessarily
Intervene.
bloody hell want to get involved.
Could I do a perception check of my surroundings, because being paranoid and all that?
Yeah. What are you specifically looking for?
Nothing in particular, just anything that moves or talks, or just to get a general view, if that's okay.
It's starting to get dark at this point, to the point where it's limiting your vision a little bit, and it's also you've built a fire, so there's a limited range of vision at this point. You're parked sort of. I say parked. That's not how you describe having a caravan, is it? Fuck it. You parked, just sort of in an out of the way place. It's clearly been used as a campsite before. There's a ready-built fire pit.
I've got
That's
dark
well
vision,
troubled.
FYI.
You have got dark vision, but what Cormac would notice would be different from what you would notice.
Right, okay.
Okay, so if you make a perception check.
Me?
Yeah, no disadvantage at this point. I just DM stuff going on in my brain.
So 20 plus.
Proficiency plus wisdom.
Yeah.
So if you're proficient in perception,
Yeah,
then
I
it's
have
plus
3
5.
and I have 3 in my plus, and then also perception.
yeah. So so it's a +5 because you're very wise. Although you haven't been acting it so far, it must be said.
Oh, shit. Yeah. You don't have to be kind to be wise. There you go.
You take a brief glance around. There doesn't seem to be any particular movement. The wind's sort of moving through the trees that surround this campsite. The grass stirs somewhat. It brings the smell of flowers on the breeze. Other than that, doesn't seem to be very much around you at this point.
So, do you want to take first watch, human, or do you want me to do it?
I can do it. I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
Alright, okay.
Seize the opportunity to use the soap.
And with that, I just jump into the wagon, if that's alright.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go up.
And Cormac would do his best to just stand guard and keep a lookout.
Okay, so in that case, if you give me, just for the sake of taking the first watch, it's going to be 3 watches, obviously, say 2 perception checks.
Yo, man.
So as the first portion of the night, as starts to get into true darkness, passes by, and you keep an eye out. There's very, very little movement. You catch the odd glimpse of a badger moving through the undergrowth that sees the campfire and keeps its distance.
One of Tilly's pets.
I only have one.
So far.
It has a zoo by the end of the campaign. It's fucking... What should we do to solve this problem, guys? I'll set my horde of animals on it. No. So, yeah, nothing seems to happen. You wake, shall we say, for the sake of argument, James takes the midnight watch. And you roll up. As you're drifting off, you have a dream that you have been suffering from for probably a couple of months now. Towards the end of your time with these people that you've been spending the last year with, you started to have these dreams. And it's a dark night at sea, something that you were very, very familiar with in your younger days. Mm-hmm. In a vicious howling storm near the free cities where you made your trade. And it's something that you recall from a memory, just steering the ship on a night's watch, and the lightning just flashing down around you. Only in this particular instance, there's a blonde woman, just floating in midair, who is screaming silently at you at something that you just cannot bring yourself to understand. You wake up a few times in the night from a cold sweat, go back to sleep, and you have the dream over and over and over again. So at this point, James is rolling his perception checks.
And that is why he's grumpy as fuck.
Okay, so yeah, bear in mind you're hearing this stuff because it's easy in just telling people in PMs, but your characters don't know this, but the people playing them do.
Mm-hmm.
Easier that way. One of the limitations of not doing it in person as well. Okay,
Yeah.
So James takes his turn watching, keeping an eye out. Starts at one point, but realizes it's nothing in particular. He wakes you, Grimold, and it's not starting to get light in the sky at this point, but it's very early hours of the morning. Says, "Dwarf, it's your watch."
What? I didn't touch him. What? Oh, alright, okay. Okay.
He
Doesn't smell like there's any trouble afoot.
Alright, okay.
And as you're taking your watch, make a couple of perception checks yourself.
Make him good, Sam. We
I'll
must
try
protect
my
the
best.
cargo.
16.
We have one job.
And an 8. And an 8.
First portion of your watch, you watch something very, very strange just moving through the air above you. A distance above, hundreds of feet up as you judge it, there's just a light that's unmistakably the light from a lantern or a torch, some kind of small controlled fire. Several of them, in fact, that just move through the sky above you, heading from east to west.
Alright.
You can make a history check, see if you know what this might be.
History is where? Oh, it's a -1.
By the way, guys, when you do the rolls, you should tell the people aloud what you rolled in case someone is just listening to the stream.
I got a 1.
Of course.
Yeah. I just
Not only,
remembered that.
it's not a critical fail, however. He rolled a 2
Yeah,
with a -1. You have absolutely no idea what it is. It's just a strange set of lights in the sky far above you. Passes over by. overhead.
It's
The rest of
pretty,
my it's eerily pretty. In fact,
Too pretty.
Nimble, if you make a as you would have been waking up through the night as is your habit,
though.
and your weasel, who have you decided to give him a name, by the way?
Yes. Sly is his name.
Cooper.
A weasel named Sly. Sly and Nimble, attorneys at law. If you make a few, give me, say, 3 perception checks as if you've been waking, stop, starting, sleep, as you've been keeping your own watch of sorts.
And that is plus.
So it's your wisdom modifier. Which
It's
is
like
plus
there's a +1 here, and then I have perception and survival like checked in. Does that give 1
Yes.
each, or how does it work?
No. So the way that works is, any skill that you're proficient in. So if
Uh-huh.
we're looking at your character sheet, for example, you're not particularly strong, but you have proficiency in saving throws and athletics. So you take the -1 for having low strength, and you add the +2. So anything you do with strength would be a +1. But in the case of wisdom, you have a +1 from your 13 wisdom,
Uh-huh.
and then you'd add a +2 from the perception. So it's a total of +3 for your dice rolls.
But you always add +2. Or
If you're proficient in something, say for example, if you, as someone that's got a lot of dexterity, you have a +3 modifier in dexterity. If you were to do something like sleight of hand, as in trying to steal something, you're not proficient in it, but you're still quite quick and nimble, so you'd add a +3.
alright. So this was +5.
No, this is +3 because you've only got a wisdom modifier of +1.
Sorry, I'm dumb.
No problem. No, you're learning. Don't need to bring yourself down. Okay, so that's, and then one more.
No, 3.
Oh, did you?
I
What
did
was the
2.
first roll?
12.
Yeah, no, but you're going to be waking up off and on. So whilst they've been doing 2 for their full round, you might say you slept for a little while, woken up, slept for a little while, woken up, slept for a little while.
1 more then.
Okay, so yeah, you spot the same lights that gradually just move overhead from east to west in the sky. If you want to make a history check as well, which your intelligence modifier I think is just a simple +1, and yeah, and you don't have proficiency in history, so it's just 1d20 +1. Okay, so this actually is something that fascinated. So she rolled a 17, guys, so you know,
Oh, sorry.
which is a 16 +1. And yeah, that is the score I was looking for of 15. You've read about these, you've been told about them a little bit. It's a combination of human and dwarven engineering. They're very, very rare, but the only thing it really could be is an airship moving from you don't know where to you don't know where, but it's going from east to west across the sky.
Alright.
Okay, so the rest of you bed down. You all bed down again for the rest of the night. Nimble, you are nuzzled awake by Sly as he has caught, you don't know how, a fish and has brought it to you and has been attempting to feed it to you whilst you were asleep.
Oh, gross.
He's soaked as well. It's the day is breaking at this point. You've all got a full rest, although some of you didn't get the restful night's sleep that you would have liked. As you fell back asleep, Grimold, you were plagued by a few sort of vague nightmares yourself. James boots you awake, Grimold, whilst Cormac sort of grumpily starting to lift his head naturally. You have a very basic breakfast of supplies that James gives you. Nimble, if you want to mark off a day's rations from your character sheet as well, from what you've eaten.
What do I do? Sorry?
So in your character sheet, in your inventory, you have, from your pack, 10 days of rations, so you've now got 9
so
days.
change this in it. Alright.
Yeah.
Got it.
But the other 2 were fed by James. Okay, so now you continue on. James states at some point, This is odd. I would have expected Reginald to have stopped and camped here as well, and we would have caught up with him. But it looks as if he wanted to move on through the night.
Who? Sorry.
Oh, my companion I told you about. He's one of the provisioners. He's a bit of a reckless chap, but he seems to have tried to rush on quickly, perhaps traveling through the night, or perhaps he's stopped somewhere slightly further down the trail. But he's not here, and this was the agreed upon meeting point.
Can I check to see if there's any signs that it might have been? around?
Yeah, make a survival check.
Survival.
What is this?
I just want to double check something about this. I know you've just gone over it with Tilly, but I've got a wisdom of 12, so that's a +1 to that.
Mhm.
And then perception as well.
Yeah.
That's one of my proficiencies. I've got a tick on it.
Yeah.
So is that a +3 then? Because my proficiency.
So in this
on
case, it's not
is
going to be a perception check.
Oh, sorry,
You're
survival.
specifically investigating something. So it's if you've got proficiency in survival,
Yeah, sorry. I have
which
it.
is a wisdom thing as well. So that's a
Yeah. So is that +3 total then? Is it?
if you're proficient in survival, yes. If not, it's a +1.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Yep.
22.
Highest roll so far.
Hey, I got a
take
25.
brief.
Yeah, Tilly got 25.
Oh yeah, sorry, no, it's my bad, and it wasn't a 25, it was a natural 20. It's better than a 25. You take a look around. It's obvious that there's been camps here before in the past. The campfire spot that has been built for this purpose. It's a series of rocks that have been piled up in a ring to keep as a permanent fire pit in this area with some gravel and a stack of firewood, which you used some of and then replenished in the morning before moving on. It doesn't look as if this place has been used for a few days at least before you used it, judging by the depth of the tracks and the recent rainfall that you've experienced.
I relay that information to James.
That is interesting. He must have chosen to move on. Thank you, Dwarf. You're a skilled tracker. Okay, so you carry on with your movements, and then from there, I need to look at another one of my images. Not this one. It isn't long now before you start getting into a heavily pine forested area. It's a little cooler today. And you move on from the campsite having eaten. Nimble, you following quietly after. And it isn't long before you arrive at a thick pine forest where the path narrows, and as you travel under the trees, the sunlight is cut to the barest minimum from the thick foliage that covers you from above and surrounds you from all sides. This is obviously a forest that hasn't been forested at any point, unlike some of the trees that you've passed by previously where there's evidence of wood cutting having taken place. This is a natural forest. So James turns to you and says, "We may need to be a little bit more observant. We have just entered the half-wood."
Alright.
Perception check, please, if I may.
Sure, no problem. As you lean your head out of the permanently hungover expression on your face, lean out of the front of the wagon and take a look around.
How far behind approximately would I be?
You'd be a distance behind now. You'd just be sort of over the last sort of hill that leads down into the forest, and you've been watching the wagon just sort of move into the darkness of the woods.
For someone that has pretty high stats in this, I suck. God damn it! What the fuck? Did I just roll a 4?
Hangover.
You take a look around. You're feeling a little groggy still from lack of sleep, but you take it and it just like, yeah, seems safe enough to you. No real problems here.
Obviously, because he's drunk with these rolls.
If it makes you feel any better, James rolled a 9. Okay, so you carry on moving forward into the forest. Nimble, it doesn't take you too much longer to catch up. Grimold, are you? I take it you're keeping an eye out as well. Would you like to make a perception check too?
Yeah. It's a 5.
A 5. Okay, so yeah, things seem.
Do I even see trees?
Do you guys have eyes? Is my question.
There are a lot of trees around. You're not the biggest fan of trees, but it is nice to feel like you're closed in by something that reminds you of home.
James, these big brown things with green on the top, they're trees, right?
He's like, great tracker, but then he's like, woods, trees, nice.
What is trees?
Bodies.
James looks at you for a second and he lets out a sort of nervous laugh. So, yes, they're trees.
I mean, I grew
He's
up
a
in
funny
in
one,
a
that.
mountain. I don't see trees like this. They're already cut up when I see them, so I'm just checking, that's all.
Are you done checking,
At
dwarf?
some point, friend dwarf, you'll have to tell me about your homeland. I think we should just keep our eyes on the road. You continue moving towards the northwest. It's another hour or so before you reach a point where the. Bear with me just a second. I need to get my map. I should have exited again like a fucking dingo.
I just love being a dingo.
Oh man, it's my life being a dingo.
You get to eat babies.
It's me.
Babies.
Babies.
Too soon?
No one eats babies. You continue to move forward, and it's there's a few paths that split off and run into the woods, but they look more like animal trails than anything else to you as you move through. There's again a few deer that you see just running around, the old bird that passes by overhead, and the scent of pine is very, very thick here. It's a very, very refreshing scent. Cormac, it even lifts your spirits for just a second, and a breeze blows through the woods from the southeast, and you can feel it ruffling your hair, Cormac, and just pushing you.
So
And there's just
lovely.
and it almost sounds like a whisper of your name as it passes your ear. You
Ghosts.
now continue moving on, and if you guys want to make another round of perception checks.
Yeah, please. I was just gonna
Yeah,
say.
me one too.
No.
Yeah, from where you've entered the woods at this point, and you're following along fairly closely behind as the wagon slowed down, and this is your sort of territory, you're more able to keep up, yes.
Can I check the tracks and shit?
17.
I can't even type anymore. I'm getting too much into
Roll.
character, I guess.
Yeah.
Fuck.
17.
Yes, okay.
Sorry, it's a +3 for you, remember. Nimble.
23.
Her second crit of the evening, everyone.
I've also rolled.
If you roll a 23, or if you roll a 20, tell me you've rolled a natural 20 first, and I'll ask you for the modifier if I need it.
Okay.
Whilst the people that you're tracking don't seem to have noticed it, you could swear, Nimble, that through the woods to the northwest, you could hear something that sounds very much like a cry for help.
Alright.
What else did we all roll?
I got a 17.
I got a 70. No.
17.
You need to.
I got a
Roll.
5.
No, re-roll that, because that doesn't make any sense the way that's come up.
It doesn't? No, that's weird. D20 plus 5.
That would imply that you rolled a 0. Okay.
Oh,
There
there
we go.
18, not bad.
Yeah. Well, I gotta roll good sometime.
Yeah, you I'm gonna say with a roll like that, actually, probably. As you continue to move forward just a little bit more, and you're leaning and straining your ears as your eyes can't pick up on anything at this point, Cormac, you also hear very, very, very faintly the sound of a shouting voice from further down the trail.
Oh, it's an actual voice?
A voice. This isn't the whisper of the wind past your ear, your imagination, or...
Well, pretty hard to tell. Pretty fucked up. But yeah,
Yes.
Cormac would knock on the shoulders of James and his dwarven friend. Guys, do you hear that?
Yeah, it's a human. Do I hear you? Yeah,
You're not talking about me now. There's some shouting down the road. I'm pretty sure I heard it just now.
James's eyes flare open at this, and he kicks the horse to move faster.
Oh.
You pass over a series of streams with wooden bridges that pass over them, some of them with fairly damaged-looking boarding that cracks under the wheels of the wagon as you pick up speed and move forwards. Nimble, you're just about able to keep up, but you are getting a bit out of breath at this point as you're following along. Sly doesn't seem to be having too many problems at all, frolic along beside you, at one point attempting to push you into a hedge. You continue moving forwards, and It's not long before it has seen opens itself up to you. There is a wagon that has been rolled off the road. The path itself splits in several directions here. It moves both southwest and northeast, as well as northwest and southeast as you're coming towards it. And there is a wagon very, very similar to the one that you're in that has a number of arrows blocking it, and there are a number of men in leather garb with red decoration that stand at a distance from this wagon. At this point, I've not heard your approach.
Oh, could you do an investigation check? I guess.
What are you trying to tell?
If I can tell anything other from the situation than what you just said. If there are any clues.
In that case, give me a perception check in that case, because this is about purely what you notice generally.
Mm-hmm. Yay!
That's strong 9. Okay, the men are armed. That much is obvious. There's an extinguished campfire that was on the floor in front of you.
Did you say that they have arms?
They are armed as in they have weapons.
Alright.
Sorry. There is a number of crossbows and short swords in evidence, and you can now hear the shouting more clearly, and it's just help, help, coming from the back of the wagon. You watch as a crossbow bolt flies out from the back of the wagon, and just one of the bandits just passes straight over his head. The bandit laughs.
So they are being robbed, basically.
You can pick that up immediately from the situation that whoever's in the back of this wagon is being attacked by these red.
Would Cormac be able to jump out and rush to aid, like instantly?
If that is what you want to do.
Exactly what I want to do. Cormac.
So you jump out of the back of the wagon. In that case, give me an acrobatics check.
Oh my God, no!
It's
No!
a short distance from the floor, from the back of the wagon.
Oh shit. Okay, so I've got 8 dexterity.
Yeah, so it's a D20 -1.
Oh my God. Oh my God! What the
That's
fuck?
a natural 20 then, isn't it?
The negative modifier doesn't count because you rolled a natural 20.
Oh.
Like, a natural 20 is always at least a partial success. So you jump out the back of the wagon, and the move that you've recreated in times in the past, even when you had your peg leg where you've been boarding other ships, it comes back to you in a flash. You leap out of the back of the wagon with astonishing agility. You land, roll, and in the same motion, draw your sword from your side and start rushing down the hill towards this
Screaming.
group of men. It's screaming.
Yeah, screaming like.
Okay, so
I'm imagining James is going to be going down, still down the hill.
James shakes his head at this. He leaps over the back of the wagon as well. Got no problem. Lands on his feet, and he takes his crossbow out from his back, starts moving at a slightly more steady pace, positions himself against a tree. Grimold?
So sorry, is the wagon still moving?
No, he's stopped the wagon.
Stopped it. Alright, okay, I'll get out of the wagon. Less fancy than those guys. I've only got little legs.
You climb down from your step
I will
down the
physically
ladder
climb down the ladder.
with no problem at all. Okay, Nimble, you are a short distance behind, but you can see that the wagon in front of you now, which is probably a good 40 feet, has stopped. What would you want to do?
Can I try to, like, sneak into the woods and flank somehow?
Yeah, if you want to make a stealth check.
Right. Again, checking.
Oh, +5.
$16.
16, yeah. It's you disappear into the undergrowth with not too much of an issue as you come up on this scene. You start catching up, and now we are going to roll for initiative for the first time. So what we need to do in that case, so you add your dexterity modifier basically, but it's slightly different for Cormac because he'd normally just have a -1 from his dexterity, but he's got a particular feature for being a human called alert, which adds a +5 to your dexterity rolls, doesn't it?
Yep.
Jesus.
So you add a +4 in that case.
I got an 18.
Okay, read out what you got to me in a second, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
So you got an 18, Grimold.
If I don't want to make one of those rolls right now, do I have to?
If you roll your initiative, and then when we get to you, you can decide what you're doing at that point. You don't have to attack.
What the fuck's
So
wrong
that's
with
my
Thank God you didn't get
natural
-1 on
dexterity
that,
roll.
Tweedman.
Or
What?
so is that a +5 as well, Michael?
Sorry?
Is that a +5 as well? Because it's a
You,
dexterity.
no,
roll.
it's not a skill you're proficient in. It's just a dexterity check. This is a plus.
Did I just roll a freaking 5?
It's a good job
You-
you got a +4 and
you
not a
did.
-1.
God dang.
I'm going to say that you had advantage on that as you were charging, so it's going to bring your score up to 10. But that's cool enough.
I need it.
Well, the thing is, you were the first person to act. So again, in any of these sorts of situations, the faster you act, the way I see it is, your character doesn't take a second to think about the consequences, and therefore has a little bit of an edge.
Wouldn't that be an initiation roll by itself, like him just
Initi-
charging?
in- Well, there's such a thing as advantage on your initiative and on your
No.
passive perception, and it's like, or disadvantage, and it's a plus or -5. Whereas advantage in terms of other dice rolls is that you roll twice and pick the higher number.
Right.
So it's just a way of, because there's no way it doesn't make sense that he would be that much lower in the combat order, given the fact that he's just charged down the hill at these people. Okay, so that's nimble, and then I will roll for your.
Weasel.
Weasel, to battle! Sly, I choose you!
Sly uses fetch fish. It's super effective. So I found myself on the page. What was it called? Wait. 7 fierce facts about weasels.
Yeah, I saw that.
Mm.
Just adding initiative, sorry guys.
It's okay, Mom.
Such high rolls.
Rip. Everyone dies. First encounter.
Nuclear explosion.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the bandits turns quickly as he hears you rushing down the road. You're still a few feet away from him at this point, as there's about a 30-40 feet gap between the two of you. He takes a few paces forwards, readies his crossbow, and takes a shot at you.
Who, me?
Yeah, and that's with a roll of 9. What's your AC?
Wait, it says 16, but but also 18, like.
Yeah, so 16 is what you have without your shield.
Oh,
I'm going to assume in the same motion as readying your sword, you've taken your shield from your back.
of course, I
But
did it
with-
before I
with
rolled.
With that roll anyway, the attack would have missed you.
Mm-hmm.
So crossbow bolt flashes forward, but it disappears over your shoulder as the bandit wasn't quite ready, and it just passes over your head and into the forest behind you. Grimold, it's now your turn.
That's why I'm still a bit further back, am I?
You are slightly further back than Cormac is, yes.
Use charge.
I don't have charge. Can I reach?
You've got a number of options. So from where you are, you wouldn't be able to get into right up close to someone, but if you were to move and then move again using your whole action to move, you would be close enough that you could attack next time. Or if you move, because you have some things that you can throw, don't you?
Yeah, I was going to say, am I within 20 feet?
You would be if you moved your full movement distance.
Alright, okay.
Of the one bandit is. Okay, so I would be using maps normally, but I find that they're very, very clunky to use with Google Hangouts. So you just have to sort of bear with me and imagine the scene, which hopefully isn't too much of a stretch. Okay, so you move forwards down this path that cuts through the woods. There's a clearing that opens up around you as you step out from under the trees, and you ready one of your axes to throw at this bandit. So
Yep.
that's going to be a D20 plus 5 to hit.
20 plus 5 to hit.
So he has to get a full pot to hit, or what?
Each monster has an AC as well. Each thing that you fight has an AC too.
23.
That definitely hits. Okay,
Mhm.
so what's the attack for your thrown axe?
1d6 slashing damage.
And it's also, it adds your strength modifier, so it's a 1d6 plus 3.
Alright, okay, cool.
With a thrown weapon, you either use your dexterity or strength, whichever is higher when you make an attack with it. With something like a crossbow or a bow and arrow or a bow, it's dexterity.
8
Okay, so-
points. Damage.
You casually flick the axe up into your hand as you walk down the gentle slope that leads into this clearing. You
Badass.
throw the axe overhand, spins through the air and slams into the chest of this bandit, nearly knocking him off his feet. It's a gout of blood and he screams as the axe slams into his arm.
Can I ready my other weapons now? Is that possible?
Yeah. The way I view it is in the book, if you draw your weapons, it's treated as your action. But I think that slows things down a bit too much and is boring. So yes, you can definitely ready your what is it that you have? A battle axe,
A warhammer and a shield. I'll take them
warhammer,
off.
and a shield. Okay. So yeah, you draw your warhammer and your shield, and you have them at the ready. And now you hear a sort of clunking sound from the and a crashing from the back of the wagon, and a sandy-haired figure leans out and attempts to take a shot, and his crossbow bolt just flies wide of the back of one of the bandits, who looks around at him, just disturbed by this, and you see a briefly grinning face as Reginald leans out the back of this wagon and says, "You're right, James. It took you long enough." Now, with that, the second one of the bandits, rushes forwards and he attempts to slash at you, Grimold, with his scimitar.
Can I see how many bandits there are? Approximately. Can I see how many there
When we get to your turn in combat, you can do a perception check, and then you can, no problem. So what's your AC with your shield?
With my shield, it's 19.
Fucking hell, he's a tough little mother. So
I'm a tank.
the bandit slashes at you, and with a fairly dismissive gesture, you just slam your shield up, chip a section of the bandit's cheap, shitty, human-made scimitar away, and the attack has no effect. From there, Cormac, it's now your turn. So at this point, from where you're standing, Grimold has moved up to be partially by your, just ahead of you. He's thrown an axe which has slammed into one of the 4 bandits that you can see, and has thrown an axe, hitting one of them, and then another one of the bandits has come rushing up to slash at him. Remember, you have more options than just attacking as well as the cleric, depending on what you want to do.
Who are you talking to, by the way?
You.
Oh, sorry.
Cormac.
Sorry, I was reading chat because he was talking about the rules that you have that there is actually a rule that you can use an action for free, like what you granted him, like that you can actually do that. But anyway, sorry.
Oh yeah, there are things called free actions, but the way I just think about it is if you want to just draw your weapons, I don't see why that should take a full turn in combat, because it just slows things down. It's not as fun.
Yeah.
And if you get it and the enemies get it, it's balanced. So
Yeah. Okay. So can I attack one with my sword?
yeah, you could easily attack the one that is currently engaged with fighting Grimold at this point.
That's what I would like to do.
You could move around to a position where you would have advantage on this attack because you're flanking him as well.
Yeah. Then I strike him from the side.
Okay, in that case, if you roll 2d20s plus, in your case, your strength modifier is not as high, and it's a strength weapon. In your case, it's going to be a +4 to hit, isn't it? +2 strength.
Roll d20
d20 plus 4.
plus 4 2 times. Did you say that?
Yeah. Just in case the... Yeah, so...
Don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me! God damn it.
Okay, Okay, I need to check out what a bandit's AC is. So far, I've known from memory that yeah, you match, which means you hit.
Noob.
Wow.
Okay, so you slash at the bandit, and it looks as if he's about to just sort of get a saber in the way, and you cut deeply into the bandit instead. So roll a d8 plus 2, because you've got the shield in one hand and you're fighting with the longsword as a one hand.
There you go. But he's still alive.
At the moment, you haven't damaged him. Oh, you did it. No, not. Yeah, so you need to do a d8 plus 2 for your damage.
Roll d8 plus 2. Actually, it says so here. Wait, I'm just gonna. Because now you're spoon feeding us, which is awesome, but I'm just gonna try to learn this as well.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna leave you guys. Yeah, so you don't even need to put the 1d8 in that. Okay, so yeah, you slash at him, it catches him badly across the arm, where the leather armor just stops and starts bleeding profusely from one arm as he gasps and swears at you. Okay, so that was... Oh, fucking hell, I've already forgotten the dice result. 5. So that's... Don't crash on me, you piece of shit. Okay, so now... Another one of the bandits steps forward. This one, he moves behind the wagon and off just a little bit, and he takes a crossbow shot, which definitely hits, as that's a 19. I should have declared who he was aiming for, but I'm going to say, because of the way that you move to flank Cormac, that is going to be against you.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, he can try.
No, he's hit you. It was a
okay.
19 plus 3, so 22.
Can you prove that somehow?
You'll just have to trust me as a reasonable DM that it hit you.
Okay, fine.
If it helps, he does 4 damage to you as the crossbow slams into one of the lesser protected areas of your armor and just sort of punches through it slightly, just digs into your side a little bit.
So I lose 2 health?
4.
4. I refuse.
So if you mark that down. Nimble, from where you've been moving up to at this point, you'd be just about behind the wagon, and you can hear that combat is going on just sort of down this hill from you.
I like ready my bow with an arrow if possible, just like to check what's going on, and then get a good look of the. I was flanking, right? So I'm behind the bandits.
Oh yeah. So no, from where you've moved, you wouldn't be flanking just yet because you were still following the wagon, and it's moved on a little bit more quickly than you were able to keep up.
Alright.
But you'll have moved through the woods off onto the right-hand side, so you're sort of from where you are, off to your left and in front of you through the trees. You can just about make out the wagon that the dwarf and the human were riding in, and then to your right-hand side, you can see another wagon very similar to the first. It's got a few arrows sticking out of it, and this is the one that previously these oddly dressed humans with sort of red scarring down across both of their eyes are crowding around the back of this wagon.
And they're currently in combat with the others, right?
Yes. You've just witnessed the peg-legged chap that you met take a crossbow bolt to the stomach, although he's still standing.
How is the angle between me and him? Like, would it be safe to?
You're in a position where you could easily take a shot at any of these bandits without too much risk to your companions.
All right, I'd fire the one that just managed to land a hit on Cormac.
Okay, sure. So from where you are, because of your stealth check, they are unaware of you, so you get advantage on the attack roll. So you roll twice, and you're proficient in using your longbow or your gnomish longbow. So it's shorter than a human longbow, but still a longbow by anyone's standards. So it's a
by
D20
her
plus
standards.
5. Yeah.
Plus 5 twice.
Yeah, and then you pick the higher result.
Wow.
Huh? It's the same. The attack hits either way, so let me just check what the damage roll for a longbow is. I think it's a D8. I'm not sure. Yeah, so it's a D8 plus 3 piercing. So if you roll 1d8 plus 3.
It's no Cormac rolls, but
plus 3. 1d8 plus 3.
Yeah. Okay.
wow.
So this is one of the first times that you've had where you've been aiming at an intelligent creature with the intention of harming it, and your attack isn't. You're more aiming to wound. The arrow flies through the trees, clipping a few leaves off, connecting with one branch along the way, and it slams into the meat of the thigh of one of the bandits closest to the wagon, the one that has just readied his crossbow. So it's 4, wasn't it? You did.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's
Where did it hit? Did you say?
hits him in the thigh.
Okay.
These injury details are more for flavor than for anything else. They'd matter if it was for a more powerful enemy, but as these are effectively just mooks, not so important.
You don't know that,
so-
or do we?
Okay, is there anything in particular that you would like Sly to do?
Not really.
Okay, so Sly just sort of squeaks a little bit, hisses at the bandits.
Try to
One of
calm
the
it down
specific
a little bit, be quiet, so we can try to keep our stealthy position.
Sure. Okay. Wouldn't have noticed you with that anyway. So the bandit takes a look around after being shot, and he can't quite figure out which direction the arrow has come from. As you're deep in the undergrowth. Do forest gnomes have any particular advantages when you're in woods as well? No, natural illusionist, but there isn't anything specifically about being in cover, besides the fact that you are small and harder to hit. Now, with that, and another one of the bandits steps forward and focusing on the same target who is already injured by his companion. He takes a shot at you, Cormac, which just again misses completely as you're engaged in combat, and then with that, James takes his action and takes a shot with his crossbow at the bandits too. That attack would hit, yes. So that's going to be a.
We're so keeping James along this entire time.
He's the most efficient of us all.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the thing. DMPCs,
Yeah.
if you're going to make them, you've got to make sure that they're completely and utterly underpowered. But at the moment, you're all level 1. Really hard to do that without making him a toddler. He takes a shot at one of the bandits as well, the one that, again, the one that had taken a shot, and a crossbow bolt finds its mark in the bandit's shoulder, with an arrow sticking out of his thigh and a crossbow sticking out of his shoulder. He's sweating, bleeding profusely, and his breath is ragged. He's not looking particularly happy at this point. We are back to the top with the first bandit, who I believe had made the mistake of rushing into combat with you, Grimold. Oh no, he was the one that you threw the axe at, wasn't he? So again, he moves up and he takes a swing. This time at you, Grimold. 17 plus 3, so that's a 20, which hits you, doesn't it?
Yep.
Okay, so slashes at you, managing to cut above your shield, and you take 4 points of damage.
Fun fact, I only have 10 health points.
I'm down to 9 now.
I have 12.
Okay, so it's now your turn.
Right,
Grimold.
okay. So how many people are there?
So at
How
this
many
point,
bandits?
there are 3 injured-looking bandits. One that's relatively sound. 2 of them are still grouped up around this wagon that they were previously harassing in this wooded area. The other 2 have moved up and are now effectively dueling you one-on-one. One with Cormac and one with you.
So that's 5 total. did you say?
4 total.
4 total.
But
So
I suppose as Grimold makes it, somewhere between 3 and 5.
somewhere between 3 and 5. Okay.
Could be 3, could be 4, could be 5.
So there's just one in front of me, sorry, or 2.
You're effectively fighting side to side with Cormac at this point, engaged with a
Alright.
bandit each.
Bandit each, right. Okay, so the one that I've got, I'm just gonna hit him with my warhammer very hard.
Okay.
So that's 1d8. Oh no, so I need to roll to hit that first.
Yep.
So it's d20 plus 5, is that right? It's a 7.
7. You attempt to attack him, and he just steps back as you swing, and the warhammer just passes by him. So that's your action. I don't think at this level you've got any bonus actions.
I've got 1, but I don't wanna use
Oh
it.
yeah, your second wind, isn't it?
Second wind, yeah.
Ooh. Okay, so with that, it's now Reginald's turn as he leans out from the back of his wagon, and he again takes another shot with his crossbow at one of the bandits. And he, even though he's severely hampered, manages to hit one of them as well.
I'm ready to slice and dice.
So with that, it's a very, very weak hit, but he manages to clip one of the bandits across the shoulder, and it just passes by into the woods as this bandit the one that you're fighting, Cormac, flinches with pain. Not quite enough for you to get an attack of opportunity, and unfortunately, in this one now, again, he swings at you, Cormac.
Don't worry, I'm blocking.
Yeah. So with your shield up, he goes to swing at you, and the crossbow bolt hits him just at that point, and he misses by quite a margin with his scimitar, and it is now your turn.
Yeah, I want to smash his face.
Okay, make an attack roll. It's D20 plus 4.
You sound so disappointed.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not disappointed.
D20 plus 4.
Yeah.
Oh my...
Roll 1 D20 plus 4, or just D20, not DD20.
Why did I do that?
You've done
I
it
don't know, it's the
twice.
second time you've done it.
Yeah.
I told you.
If it makes you feel any better, in the last session I ran, my friend Tom tried to roll some D16s.
Okay, there we go.
Definitely hits, so that's a D8 plus 2 for your attack damage.
Ching!
Ching.
So are you aiming to subdue, or are you aiming to kill?
Kill.
So what's your damage roll?
Roll D8 plus
Plus
2.
Yeah.
Suck on it!
Oh.
The maximum damage that you can do, you step forward.
It's because I literally
long
equipped
sword.
my sword.
Yeah, as you knock the bandit's weapon aside and you messily eviscerate him. He looks at you with an almost questioning expression on his face as his
all me.
organs drop out, blood spills onto the ground, and he collapses.
It's all me. Wouldn't have done it without me.
We don't even know you're there.
Oh, you have no idea.
But I hit an arrow, right? Oh
Okay,
my
so
god.
this bandit is going to spend his turn. He's going to take a look around and takes a look through the woods. There's a brief moment, Nimble, where you realise that he's seen you.
Alright.
And he takes a shot with his crossbow. But with a roll of 3, even though that's plus 3, with the heavy cover that you're in, the crossbow bolt slams into a tree trunk long before it has any risk of hitting you. And it is now your turn.
Can I go in for a kill?
Do you want to shoot at him, or do you want to move through the woods and attack him?
Let me shoot him. Always keep my
Make it.
distance where possible.
Sure.
D20 plus 5, right?
Please.
23.
Oh baby, that hits. Okay, so a D8
Whoa.
plus 3 for
Right
damage.
between the eyes. No, I'm kidding.
Is that what you're aiming? Cool, that's good to know.
Well, we know who's going to be our main DPS now.
Wait, am I gonna do it again? Fine.
I got
No,
the
you
same
don't
roll.
get advantage on this one.
Yeah,
'cause
but
he's
she's
seen you.
cooler.
Wow.
Okay, and then I
Kidding, I love the beer.
1d8
Ah.
plus 3 for your damage. Yeah.
11.
Fuck. Okay, so your aim is just a little bit off, and it doesn't quite catch him directly between the eyes, but the longbow arrow slams into his left eye, and it isn't stopped by bone, brain, or bone again. It passes through and stops when it hits the side of the wagon. The bandit just goes and then collapses onto his knees and then flat on his face as his brain and blood start leaking out from the wound on both sides.
I
of
have
his
never felt so badass in my entire life.
Welcome to Dungeons and
Makes me
Dragons.
Wow. Nice one, Taylor. You broke him.
What the hell? I'm recruiting that gnome. The fuck?
You mean the child?
Yeah. Damn.
Okay, so this is the whole point of being a DM, is to make people have fun.
Yeah,
It's not
brains.
to try and kill your PCs, and that's the important thing to learn about Dungeons and Dragons.
You want to kill
Okay,
us,
so
just
we're
admit
now
it.
at the third bandit. He takes a look around. You notice 2 of his friends are dead. 1 of his friends is badly injured.
All my friends are dead.
That's what isn't Cox. He turns and he starts running back down the path towards the northwest, getting as far as his feet will carry him. So he moves about 60 feet out of the clearing to the northwest. You can still see him as the trees are slightly thinned out. That's that. Now James, seeing this, he takes a beat of his crossbow, and again he fires but misses. It just pings past a bandit as he's sprinting, sweat pouring from his face as his companions have been fouled by arrows that he hasn't seen, and by this couple of heavily armored, odd-looking individuals moving down this path methodically towards him. He runs, and now the first bandit attacking, using his action to disengage. He turns and which basically means if you use your action to disengage, you can move away without someone getting an opportunity attack against you. So he's dodged backwards and is now running back down the slope towards the wagon as well. Which brings us to Grimold, your turn.
So, sorry, I'm really struggling to figure out who's where. So is there anybody in front of me right now?
There is one of the bandits who has rushed about 30 feet away from you.
Right,
I'll take
there's
this track.
nobody right next to us.
There's nobody right next to you. There's one dead bandit that smiles about the same in death as he did in life. Pretty unpleasant.
Still better than a human with 1 leg and sick in his beard.
I'm the one that killed him. The fuck?
You wouldn't be able to get into melee combat, but you could
No.
again either retrieve your axe and throw it again, or throw your other throwing axe at this retreating bandit.
I'll retrieve my axe and throw it again. That's okay.
Okay, make another attack roll.
I'd like that back, please.
I just picture you like pulling it out of the corpse, like janking
You
it.
just rip it out of the corpse, blood gouts from it, and you just wipe it off on the
And it
bandit's
just
back, and then
splatter
just
on his
throw it
face.
again.
This is like straight up Game of Thrones now.
Yeah, that's just throwing me off rolling. So it's D20 plus 5, is it?
That's right. This is how I describe my kills, by the way, guys. I hope you
Yeah,
like
thanks.
gruesome.
I
Super
love
friendly,
it.
and then
I've
everything
never
goes.
felt so cool in my life.
24.
Okay, yeah, the axe hits him. Roll damage. D8 plus 3.
Tilly, you've never been this
Yeah,
cool
it
in
rolls.
your life.
Okay, so
Sorry,
from you throw the axe, and it's not quite as straight down. It's got a slightly diagonal arc to it, and as he's rushing forwards, the axe, from your perspective, as he's sort of rushing down this hill, and the throw that you make, it's only a slight slope. You're a bit shorter than him. It doesn't hit him between the shoulders. It slams just into the small of his back, immediately where his spine is, cutting through his leather armor. He loses control of his legs, and then just collapses onto the floor as he again begins the process of bleeding to death. So that now is 3 bandits dead.
Mm-hmm.
Where's
one
the final
that is-
one?
We've killed one each.
He
That's
is-
pretty good.
Yeah, it's nice.
Watch
No
out.
one feels left out. Okay, so Reginald, from where he is, you see another fairly tall, skinny, sandy-haired man who's losing his hair on the top, fairly big nose, just hops out the back of this wagon, sort of, yeah, no problem at all, and then he again takes a shot with his crossbow at the retreating back of the bandit. Unfortunately, the shot misses by quite a margin, and that brings us, Cormac, to you.
How far away? He's not melee distance, you said?
He's not melee distance. He is now. I have to try and convert this into freaking metric for you guys as well, don't I? He's going to be about 40 meters away at this point, so you'd be able to move and potentially, cast a spell or throw a dagger, depending on which one you prefer to do. I don't know what spells you have because I don't have that on my character sheet. You should have a number of cantrips and first level spells. I don't know what you want to do.
I don't think he's ready to show off his spells just yet. I mean,
Okie dokie.
so what he's gonna do is that he is going to throw one of his daggers
Okay.
and roll.
So it's going to be a d20 plus 4 again because it's a thrown weapon strength attack.
Let's go.
The dagger hits the bandit. Now roll damage, which is a d4 plus 2. So, taking aim, realizing that you'd rather stop this bandit from running than really attempt to do any serious harm, you throw it, and the blade slams through the back of the bandit's ankle and drops him like a rock in the middle of the path, where he rolls around, clutching at the wound, screaming at the top of his lungs. And that ends initiative and the encounter, so we're back in narrative at this point.
Who sent you?
I want to go and pick up my axe,
Could I have that
please.
soap now?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you retrieve your axe from the incredibly dead bandit.
Can I say, hey human, this bandit's cleaner than you.
And mighty
Cool,
finer
yeah.
than you.
I'm not saying
Jim.
anything else.
So, Reginald speaks up for the first time. Oh, I've seen you found some... Hang on, no, I don't want to do Northern for this guy, I want to do Bristolian. How do I activate Bristolian accent?
I don't know. You do whatever you
Can I
want.
put my hand up and make
Yeah,
a
go for it,
suggestion?
man.
Just talk
Give
how
me-
you
give me-
normally talk, man. That's
fuck-
how you get
you
Bristolian.
can go and fucking fuck yourself, mate.
There you go.
Beautiful.
James, I see you found us some fairly interesting folk to help guard the wagons. It's a shame that I moved on like an idiot through the night, but thank you for coming to my rescue with such effective unpleasantness.
Can I,
James just nods at him, goes to inspect the bodies.
can I do a check to see if I can figure out where that arrow came from that totally decimated that bandit?
Yeah, make a medicine check, I'd say in this case, which is your wisdom modifier plus your proficiency if you're proficient.
And after he's done, I would like to do a perception check to see if there's any more dangers around. I
You can,
suppose.
you can make a perception check now.
Okay, Mon Chilaxi. Plus
That's
5.
15.
It was plus 5, right? Yeah? Let's see.
In your case for a perception check, yeah, it is. Okay, you,
Yeah.
you quickly inspect the wounds, Grimold, and you... From where the bodies span, as it was falling, and from the entry and exit wound, you can see clearly the area of woods that it came from. If you make a perception check now. And I'm still using your old stealth roll for this, by the way, Tilly, just for the
Yep.
sake of simplicity.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna find you.
You got a 22 though. It's dangerous.
3.
So you
What did
take
I
a
get?
brief look around, Cormac.
Mm-hmm.
There doesn't seem to be anyone immediately lurking in the woods at this point, and
Okay.
yeah,
19.
There's what?
Grimold, doesn't seem to be anyone immediately lurking around in the woods at this point. There is just the one bandit that's sort of still attempting to crawl away from you, with a look of fear on his face, of your dagger sticking through one of his ankle, effectively. Grimold, you take a brief look, and you can see the gnome that apparently doesn't belong to anyone, just sort of
But herself.
winks at you from the woods.
Hey human, I've just seen your gnome. That's your gnome. Your gnome's there. What?
Was she the one pulling off that arrow?
Oh, I guess so. She's a gnome. What? That's the gnome I was telling you about, Jimmy.
Get that kid here. Right now.
I'm
Don't
not going
call
near
me.
her.
Don't call me Jimmy. My
Alright.
name is James.
Jimmy's a bit pissy, human. Let's get angry after a fight.
I'm a bit pissy too,
You are-
actually.
Alright, okay. Pissy group. And I
Passive aggressive dwarfishness is amazing.
and I walk
okay.
towards the gnome if possible.
Cormac would walk towards the crawling corpse.
He's not a
Crawling
corpse.
corpse.
You heard me. Yeah, we don't know. Maybe he's dead. He's undead at least. I don't know.
Alright.
So you take a look at him. He's definitely not undead.
Okay,
He's
well,
bleeding. As far as you're aware, most of the time the undead don't do very much of that.
don't worry,
That's
he'll
from
be
what
dead
you know
soon.
about them. Oh, from this, yeah, he's still got his dagger in your dagger in his leg, and he's just looks up at you. What do you want?
Cormac wouldn't say anything at the moment. He would just reaches down and tries to retrieve his own dagger.
Okay, make a strength check.
Okay. So my strength is 14 plus 2, which means... Roll.
Just a d20 plus 2 in this case.
Okay. Oh yeah, boy.
Of course, it's a critical success. With ease. Just very, very, very simplistically, you pull the dagger out, and just as you're doing it, you twist it just a little bit so it hurts a bit more. Before you wipe the knife off on this bandit.
Yeah.
You can see now that he's pissed himself through fear, presumably.
Can I put my boot on his back?
He is face up towards you at this point.
Can I put my boot on his stomach?
Yep, sure. And you just pin him there for now,
Yeah.
I take it.
Mm.
Okay, sure.
Pointing my sword towards him.
We'll take that as part of the natural 20 that he's going to have. Actually, let's just see. Yeah, he rolled a 1, of course. How the dice aid with narrative. So at this point we have Grimold, who has walked off. James and Reginald, as you can only assume this is Reginald as he's introduced himself, are having a conversation next to the back of the wagon, and Nimble and Grimold, you are now sort of just having a brief chat just off to the side in the woods.
You alright over there, Gnome? Have you been following us all this way?
Possibly.
What do you mean possibly? You stood right in front of us. I mean, thanks, by the way, because that guy, I don't know what you did there, but Jesus Christ, is that a dog?
No.
Is that the dog?
Is that a dog? Did that...
Grimold, make a nature check.
Roll. D20. Nature is... Oh, -1. Perfect.
It definitely fucking looks like a dog.
Is that the dog that stole my that stole those sausages? They weren't mine sausages. Is
It's
that the
not-
dog that ran into me, the little bastard?
It's not a dog. Calm down. Freeze.
What is it then?
It's a weasel.
A weasel?
Well,
Yeah.
it's
Never heard
what's
of it.
known to you, and you've seen a few of these living in. Hang on, I had a great collective noun for a group of weasels. Bear with me a second.
Weasel is a dog.
A group of
Yeah,
squid.
so you've seen boogles of weasels in the gloam. They've generally kept their distance. A collective noun for a group of weasels is a boogle.
All right.
Boogle. And you know for a fact this is what is known as a dire weasel.
Dire weasel.
Yeah, some freak of nature and magic coming together at times creates natural creatures that are much larger than their usual and more common counterpart.
Fair enough.
Right, so what happened was, you disappeared, you found a dog called Weasel, and now you're here.
It's not a dog called Weasel. It's a dire weasel.
I gestured to the weasels like, come on Weasel, here Weasel, Weasel, Weasel.
Make an
No,
animal
it's
handling
fine.
check,
Oh God.
He's gonna lose his hand, and he can get a hook.
which is wisdom, and I'm not sure you're proficient.
I am +1 in wisdom, so don't worry about
Okay.
it.
What? Oh wow, that's good.
Whatever happens, Nibble would just let it happen because he's being dumb. So he has himself to blame.
16.
Okay, that's fucking. I'm gonna make this weasel's gonna do an insight check, guys. He's gonna see what he thinks. It's wisdom, isn't it? Insight. So. Okay, the weasel takes a sniff,
Pretty wise for a weasel.
takes a step towards you,
Yeah.
another step towards you, sniffs you on the hand, just bites you on the finger a little bit, just enough to
Get a taste.
that you feel the strength of this creature through the through your glove.
He's a feisty
And
one, isn't he? No.
just puts his little legs up on your shoulders, leans really close in to your face, sniffs you, licks your nose, and then runs back to Nimble.
I like your dog. I like your dog. So, he's Weasel. What's your name?
They call me Nimble.
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 Nimble the gnome. I like that. My name's Grimold, by the way.
Pleasure.
Oh, the human's over there with Jimmy. And I don't know the other guy.
My name is James.
He
I like
doesn't
Jimmy. He
Are we
seems
able to hear
he
this
doesn't like it
conversation?
when you call him Jimmy. for some
Cormac,
reason.
you can't, but James
Yeah.
is standing
Yeah,
close
okay,
enough.
yeah,
You
okay. I'm like, what the
definitely
fuck?
can.
That's why I'm being so silent.
He hates it when you call him Jimmy for some reason.
I'll be sure to remember that.
Just call him
So-
Jimmy. He's paying me anyway, so if you've been helping us, you should ask him for some cash. Because, you know, he seems to be giving it away.
Let's see. Was that the work you were talking about earlier?
Aye, yeah, this is the job, yeah. Hey, you remember. That's good. That was yesterday. I forgot about that. I'm gonna go back over here now, because that dog's a bit weird. It looks weird.
I think it's kind of cute.
It's a lovely dog. It's
Sure,
weird.
if you say so.
I can't wait for you to get speak with animals and for me to have to RP being a fucking weasel. It's gonna be amazing.
People
So I
should
just-
follow the stream just for that.
I
Hello.
just trot back over and go, hey, human! And I shout out to Cormac and say, the gnome's here. Your gnome. She's got a dog called Weasel, or a weasel called Dog. I don't know.
Stop screaming and take her here, man!
Alright, sorry. What?
Get her here!
Why?
Cause there's a soon-to-be dead guy here.
Alright. Hey, Nimble. There's a guy there.
I'm
Do you
spitting,
need
man.
support to finish him off? Or what's
I don't
going
know.
on?
I'm gonna go and
Before long, you're all sort of gathered around, James and Reginald included, around this bandit. Okay, so by the way, guys, in this kinds of points, if you want to do any looting or anything like that, you do an investigation check, for example. I know you're all very new to this. Or
Would
if,
arrows be in a state that they could be used again, or?
again, if you make an investigation check, you might be able to find one or two that have
Okay.
that are usable. But if all three of you want to make investigation checks, we can say it's just you looking over this particular area, even if it takes place after this narrative event.
Where was that?
So
Is that just intelligence? Or
That's intelligence, and if you're proficient in investigation, that's
just a +1 then? Because I'm not.
oops.
Samuel tries to roll but confuses Google.
Got 9.
I got 17.
it's not bad.
And the -1.
And then
bro.
Cormac, you need to roll as well, dude. I know you're in, but this is basically a sort of outside of narrative. Just
Yeah, but what if he doesn't want to loot?
Okay, in that case, if you don't want to, you don't have to.
Noble. Very noble.
He can loot for
You
me
might-
if he
yeah.
wants.
He doesn't roll that way.
The arrow that went through the bandit is all of the flight's been stripped off it, and it effectively shattered as it slammed into the fairly hefty oak construction of the wagon. So that one's completely destroyed. But the other one, you with a little bit of fiddling around, you could make a usable arrow of it again.
Alright.
You look at the bandits; all of them are armed with crossbows. So unfortunately, none of their bolts would fit your weapon.
I just grab my 1 arrow then, and then I'm.
Sure.
Satisfied.
On the corpses, you do also find a total of 4 gold pieces in assorted copper and silver coins.
Right.
You also find a note on one of the bodies, and that's you with your investigation check.
Okay.
Actually, it could be either one of you, but yeah, whilst you're rifling through the pockets of these corpses, on one of them, the one that you killed again, Nimble, you find a rolled up bit of scroll.
Is the guy still alive that I'm having pinned down?
Yeah, he's bleeding from his ankle profusely, and he looks scared, but he's still just panting away.
Jimmy, you might
He
want to
blacks out.
question him if he's one of your bandits.
It's a group that we've come to know fairly well recently, and I thought this might be the case. They call themselves the Blood Eye Bandits.
Convenient.
Well, certainly
I
by the
get
looks
that.
of that other one with the arrow in his
Which
face.
now, looking at that one, is
He can be the
quite
mascot.
ironic.
He can be the mascot. Take him back with that guy.
So I suppose we don't need this guy anymore. Cormac, with that said, Cormac would try to stick his sword in the throat of the guy.
Rather than doing it that way, it just depends on in case any of you want to ask him any questions.
No.
I don't care. My job's to get
How
this
many
caravan.
more are there of you? And where are you stationed?
Okay, he's not alive. Cormac halts as she asks the question.
And he looks at you and says, "What the fuck are you supposed to be?"
It doesn't really matter right now. Just answer the questions, please.
Damn.
Make a persuasion check.
I'm persuaded already.
Is that charisma?
She's a feisty one, human.
If you're proficient in persuasion, it's a
I'm
plus. Okay.
So just +1.
You should keep that one.
She's not mine, she's yours.
No, I should
I
keep
belong to
that
He
you.
one.
looks
About
and
me.
says, "I don't care if you kill me. Soon enough, you'll all be dead anyway with what's following us." And he
May I
he spits
execute
at
this
you.
man? Oh, when he spits, I want to slice him.
Okay, yeah, and that point you just dig your long sword into his neck, cut his throat, he gurgles, bleeds out, and dies.
Feels good.
All right. That was colorful.
So, I think we've got a bit of cash from these guys. Do you want to split it, or do you mind if I just take it?
You may take it.
Miss
Yeah.
Nimble, you don't want this gold?
Go ahead. Take it.
Cheers, thanks. My pocket
Cormac would, since he doesn't have to guard his body anymore, he gets down on his knees and just stands with his shield in what seems to be some sort of prayer. And
What's he doing now?
he does it silently and doesn't even mind the others surrounding him.
I was about to ask.
Make a religion check whilst you do that, Cormac.
Okay. Do I have a religion check?
Yeah, it's an intelligence skill.
Yeah, I see. D20, and I have +1, so.
Okay.
Muskuchi. Yay! I failed.
You attempt to
Feel
commune
like
for a
brave.
second to bring some sort of peace to this twisted human, but you, as much as you've been hearing voices, and it's not just the voices that you used to hear, the destructive voices of your youth, but nothing seems to really speak to you at this point. Okay, so what do you guys want to do from here?
Can I go back to collect that scroll that I found?
Oh, you picked it up. I say you
Alright.
just sort of rolled it up and tucked it into your belt.
Alright. Can I
Good.
check what it is?
Yeah, it's written in common.
Okay.
The note itself reads. Bear with me just a second. Carry on as you were. Do not attack the village directly, but make sure no supplies make it through our blockade. If you get the opportunity, kill any of the faithful you meet and make an example of them. Burn this note and report back to A. It's signed with a single elegant drawing of a skull.
Do we get to see that at all?
Depends
Yeah,
if you
show
want
it.
to share it.
I'd share it.
Maybe you shouldn't have killed your guy before you read this letter. You could have used that as collateral, because he should have burnt it. But never mind.
He remains silent.
Are we
No.
gonna go to the place?
Child.
I have a name.
You've got more pecker than
He
most of
doesn't know
these.
it at this point, to be fair. He
She's
didn't
not
hear
a
the
child.
conversation that you and Grimmel had.
As I said,
She's a gnome called Nimble.
you've got more picker than most of these people. You should stick around, share the loot.
What did
You've
you
earned
say?
it.
I might.
I said she's got more pecker than most of us.
Pecker.
Dick.
You got quite a mouth on your
An
nose.
awkward exchange. This human slang that you picked up in your travels, whereas Grimmel's just like, don't know that slang term for penis. We don't use it.
So the gnome's got a penis. She looks like a girl, human.
What's behind my legs is not relevant. Can we get going now?
That is the best.
Well, you
suggestion
mean
I've
what's
had
not
all
between
day.
your legs? Let's just go now.
As you're having this slightly awkward conversation,
Slightly awkward.
Nah.
you hear from the woods to the east a long, drawn-out, and extremely unnatural sounding howl.
Oh shit. Cliffhanger. I call it.
At this, James immediately looks around with an extremely alarmed expression on his face, Reginald jumping just a split second later. They both immediately rush over to the wagons. So, whatever that is, we really don't want to meet it, I am sure. Get in the wagons and let's get moving. You two, Gnome. Shot like yours, you're definitely coming with us.
Well, Cormac would start moving to the wagon, obviously.
Same.
Is there 2 wagons?
Well, the
there
one.
There are now,
Jimmy.
there's 2. There's one that Reginald was driving that's peppered with arrows.
Screw Reginald, I'm hanging with Jimmy.
I'm recognizing Jimmy from the guy with the weasel, right?
Yes.
Okay,
So that is
I'd
the
rather
man that
want
you
to sit with Reginald.
Okay, so you get to the front wagon in that case, Nimble, as you start moving through the woods to the northwest. It doesn't
Is,
take long for James to catch up slightly with Grimold and Cormac in that wagon in the
Is
back.
Sly just skulking in the forest, or
Sorry?
is Sly just like creeping with us in the
Uh,
forest? I
As you
assume he's found
get up
through.
into the wagon,
Uh-huh.
you hear there's a slight sort of scoff of surprise from James as he recognizes the giant weasel, and the weasel just jumps back into the back of the wagon besides you, Nimble, as you move into as you hop in. The giant weasel hops over the back and joins you in there as well. So you
Alright.
start to move off. You don't hear any more sounds of pursuit. We're gonna call it very, very soon, guys, just so you're aware. Now,
I thought
think
you
it's
were
a good
gonna
time
do
to
us.
finish.
Well, I did not call it in that case. I thought it was a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
It will be. You move through the woods towards the northwest. The forest starts to clear out a short distance. Although it's still fairly heavily wooded on your right-hand side, it falls down a fairly dramatic scree slope towards a stream on your left. And the path narrows dramatically, the 2 wagons very, very close together. Nimble, you notice this as well. Cormac, with your passive perception, you do too. You're looking at the back of the wagon, sort of just clinging nervously. As you look out of the back of the wagon, something, it looks like, as far as you can tell, just a bundle of rags just falls from the forest on your left-hand side as you're looking back down the path.
Thank you for that
Falls
follow!
down onto the path, and then
Rags.
it unravels. And it stands up in a loosely humanoid form. Its eyes light up with a burning red light, and it howls a terrifying, unnatural sound, and rushes with incredible speed towards the wagon. And that's what we're going to call it.
Exciting.
Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed that first proper episode of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I would say it was. I was really fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Soren.
Soren.
It's
Oh,
still
you're
live.
still here. Shh. Shh. We just added him, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah. Don't worry about the sudden voice you've heard. It's not the creepy
It
thing
was-
that's following him.
It's my cult alter ego.
It was me doing my impression. of,
Yeah.
Mechanics.
Guy who can't stop screaming.
Yeah, it went for our first episode. I'd say it went pretty smooth. Or is that just me?
Tell you what, I enjoyed it. I hope you guys had fun too.
Yeah.
It was a bit slow to start off with because you spent a lot longer in town than I thought you would, and I had to,
We like
allowances.
down, okay?
That town was a
People like
shithole.
ale.
Yeah, that was the point I was trying to get across, that it was a fucking dump.
Oh,
Do you feel
yeah.
a little bit better about it now, Tilly? Now you know what's involved in the actual gameplay. I think you did a really good
Yeah.
job considering how nervous you were.
You did.
I'm still nervous.
Yeah, of course.
I like
but-
Nimble. I like the dynamic that's already formed in the group as well. All of you RPing extremely low intelligences, apart from Nimble, of course.
Yeah.
That
Okay, well,
wasn't. I didn't RP one bit.
Okay, how many viewers do we actually have then, dude? Because I haven't been
Still
watching
streaming.
the stream. Oh, we're still streaming. Oh shit, my bad.
Yeah, we
I
are.
apologize for this one.
Well, we had.
Okay,
well, when we started the combat, we got a lot of people, and we had. We were steady around 10, I suppose, and 8.
Oh, it's not too bad.
No, not for our first try. And next Saturday we will have the second session campaign episode.
Okay.
Do we have a title for
this-
that yet? To tease the viewers?
Um,
What, Tilly?
memes.
Okay.
I'm gonna link it in Skype.
God damn it,
Okay, so
Tilly.
what we should call the next episode, Cormac?
Yeah.
Sorry, Robin, as you now
Oh,
are.
what?
Character name
How
stuck in my head.
much have you played?
Robin, Tweedman, Robbie, Cormac.
Better.
Well, as we Swedes say, chattbong har många namn.
That is a fucking
Oh, yeah.
stupid meme. Okay, just call it Windrush.
Windrush. Okay.
Windrush.
In the next episode, Windrush. Cool.
Providing you make it there, of course, and that you don't get killed along the way.
Yeah, well, could happen.
Could happen. Oh yeah, you've all still got a fairly low amount of HP as well, haven't you? So that's
Yeah,
Still have
6.
full health.
Yeah.
Well, how much is that? Like 4 HP?
Well.
What? Do you have more HP than me?
As a ranger, you have a hit dice of a D10, which is the same as a fighter, and a Constitution modifier +2 gives her 12
The
HP at
fuck?
level 1.
She's the tank, man. I have less health than the gnome.
She is not the tank. Ask how much health Grimold has at level 1.
How much do
He's
you
got
have?
13.
13, yeah.
I've got 10. I'm a fucking scrub.
You're a cleric. You're not. You're made for more bookish pursuits. You're not a
Does it look like
frontline
that?
fighter, but you're still pretty tough.
Yeah, well. He's still a very early cleric, clearly.
Is there any? Do you guys have any questions you want to ask me?
Yes. How did we do?
You were great. You were much better at RPing than I thought you would be for first timers, especially you, Tilly. That was really good fun watching you guys interact. I like the Cormac and fucking Grimold relationship.
It's already gonna have fan fiction. they have like this body, you know, like what is it called? Like these like road trip movies with two people that hate each other, but they obviously go well together.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, exactly. It's God damn it.
There's just the gnome people argue about who
Cleric
owns her.
can tank as well.
She's not mine.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was fun.
Can you really own a gnome?
No, you
No.
cannot. A
No,
gnome
you can't.
owns herself or himself.
Tilly, by the way, your webcam has been frozen this entire time.
Mine.
No, Tilly.
No, Tilly. Oh, Tilly. Just look at my pretty face, guys.
I mean, I love that. We're gonna keep that.
I told you could use the face.
No,
No,
I'm
because
gonna draw one for next
No,
week.
but seriously, do you realize how ugly people think I am when this is my face off the stream?
Tilly, the best part is that
I've seen it. I'm gonna load the stream up so I can have a look. 'cause I've
Tilly,
got the stream up.
we're going to draw a new one for you every week. Next time it's
No,
Sam's.
I'm
Yeah.
not this ugly.
No, I know you're much prettier, but
Mm-hmm.
I say this is quite pretty as well. I got your eyes right.
Yeah, I
I-
kind of did.
I'm loading it very slowly.
I'm cross-eyed.
What I like about this game is just the things that surprise you. The amount of weasel-based research I've been doing this week.
Yeah.
It's not a weasel, it's
What-
a dog.
What
It's
are
called weasel.
weasels like? That's what they're like. I understand weasels a bit more now.
Did you see
And then
the?
in the middle of it, I googled
No,
7
pause this.
That's
fierce facts about
It-
weasels.
Role play knowledge is knowledge as well.
I've just opened up the tweet chat and it
They're
does.
killing
really-
machines.
What
It
did?
really does look like you. Like,
Yeah.
It really looks like you.
Well, it still actually resembles you. I mean, it could technically be a really bad drawing of you. I mean, I can still see the tilliness.
How can you see the? I don't have black hair.
You have big eyes, and you,
Derpy face.
yeah.
I do not have a lopsided smile.
Yes, you
You do
do.
have a derpy face.
That's you. Well, anyway, there's
Fuck
gonna be a new drawing of Tilly next week, guys. So stay tuned for that.
No.
And the next episode was called Windfall.
Windrush.
Windrush.
That is the name of the village that you were headed to.
Spoiler: Windrush is.
You were already told that. They didn't just say, "Come with us on the caravan guard duty. We're going somewhere."
That was all
And if-
I heard because you were lagging.
Oh, god damn it! If I'm lagging, tell me so I can stop and unnecessarily.
Yeah,
I
well,
like Windrush.
yeah, and I'm feeling that I have a little bit hard time. I mean, sometimes I might not be focusing as well because I am managing a lot of things at the same time, so I apologize for that. But it's gonna get easier next time. This was the first.
Okay, easier and easier and easier until we're masked, right?
Yeah,
Should we call it here?
do that, Vilio, and it's also gonna be on YouTube after done with
Yay.
this. So yeah, stay tuned
I need
for
a haircut.
Is the? Oh my god.
You don't need a haircut.
I was stuttering and I was so nervous and I felt my anxiety building up and I was like, I started shaking and shit.
Yeah, but you did so well. I mean,
You did a really good job. It was really, really good fun playing as well. I'm looking forward to introducing the fourth character as well.
Yeah.
That's going to be
Oh,
fun
yeah.
encounter.
Shh.
oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah, I mean, no, spoiler alert. There's going to be more than 3 characters.
So why?
Good D&D groups, at least 4, I'd say. 5's a good number too.
Okay, guys, we're gonna cut this off now.
Oh.
But
One last thing.
do it.
All 3 of you got 65 experience each for that encounter.
Hey!
65.
So if you note that
Well,
on your
technically, I killed one more than
So
them.
experience points is 65.
character- you killed one more than them, Cormac, but for simplicity's sake, and because I'm a simple man that likes to keep track of things as easily as
Ah.
possible,
Well, he just
you're all
executed that guy. He was
leveling.
No, I tossed the
He
dagger.
was basically dead.
No, I hit him with a dagger in the ankle. Is that
I could have
basically
done
that?
the same.
No, you couldn't because you hit them in the eye. That's your thing.
Oh yeah, sorry.
She was aiming to kill. I decided that you were aiming to slow down. So you
Yeah,
could catch
I
her.
was actually thinking that if I was gonna fire at that guy, I would aim for the
Yeah.
thing as-
Oh well, this was really fun. Are you gonna say bye to chat,
I'm gonna
friends?
go take some
Goodbye,
head,
chat.
head killers.
Thanks very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yes,
Feel
we
free
will
to-
be seeing you next week.
to follow me on Twitter or whatever and send me
Yeah.
abuse over my DMing. And anything, all criticism's good criticism.
Yeah,
Unless you're just going to call me a floppy head prick, in which case,
Well-
please don't.
Keep doing.
yeah. They don't need to state the obvious.
We tell him enough. It's-
My ego is so fragile, I'm not sure I'll be able to handle being insulted.
Bollocks.
Uh,
Love you, Michael. You're a great DM.
yeah.
Did you guys enjoy that? Did
Yeah.
you have fun
It's good,
playing?
yeah.
Yeah.
It was
For the
good.
first- Okay, hopefully there's lots of questions buzzing around your head about what's going on as well, and that's what I want to happen. But yeah,
Did
the
you
one
hear
problem
silence?
is, with really, real confidence builder, with low-level characters, is there's only so much stuff you can get involved in because you just get so easily fucked up by things. Like those bandits are very weak enemies, and they still did what, like, an average hit takes off a third of your HP. But that'll change. Yeah, really, really good, and looking forward to next Saturday. Can't
Yeah.
wait.
So with that said, take care, everybody. I'll see you guys next week. Oh well, on Tuesday actually, for those that stick around for the other streams. But hype for next episode.
Alright, see you guys. Take care.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Peace, everybody, and thank you for watching. It has been a pleasure. Yeah, I am gonna add it to the description because I just recently started using my YouTube channel, so it needs a lot of work. So I'm gonna update more on that later. So it's gonna be there. Stay true, stay cool, and everything else. There we go. Where do I have the?
While you sleep, dream of me. I'll be keeping our memories living in my heart and soul, waiting for the day when we will be together again. Carry me to my love, o'er the sea to the clouds above, where I know he's waiting for me. Carry me to my love, o'er the sea to the clouds above. smiling down patiently. Carry me to my love. Oh, the sea to the clouds above, where I know he's waiting for me. Carry me to my love. Oh, the sea to the clouds above. Carry me to my love. Oh, the sea to the clouds.